lower that music. What's up, everybody? Sports Goofs number 117. It's me. I'm Francisco. I'm joined by Charles over on the other side. Andrew cannot join us for this week. All right, so we'll carry on as a duo for today, and we'll carry on with a bunch of stuff for the week. Holy crap, man! NFL. Oh man, this is great. NFL's got stuff.
NFL's got a lot of stuff.
NFL's got
and I
stuff.
just sent you stuff about more stuff. About
NBA's got stuff. It's opening night for the NHL. It is Major League Baseball playoffs. Division series for the American League is over. It might be tonight for the National League. There's stuff. There's everything. Everything's happening. So I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about. We got NHL 2K3 in the background for the video version of this with the classic ESPN NHL theme because, well, ESPN is broadcasting both of the opening night games tonight. The Lightning versus the Penguins as they raise their next banner, and then Seattle versus Vegas. So Seattle will be opening on the road against the Golden Knights. So that's exciting as well. And yeah, it's on ESPN 1. It's not ESPN 2. Not
ESPN the Ocho.
Exactly. No, this is on the real deal ESPN for the first time in like 17 years, 16 years, something like that. So yeah. Well, here we go. Lots of stuff, man. Parati's Hockey World. You can get all the lowest prices back, biggest selection of all the new products, got clearance products, everything out there. Check it out on our homepage. Heck, we even have our episodes on our homepage, right? sportsgoofs.wixsite.com. Go listen to our episode there. Download it if you want to. If you want to carry that onto a flight or something, listen to Charles's dulcet tones if you feel like it, him rambling on about wrestling. That could happen. And Charles will probably be rambling today about wrestling because stuff happened there too, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Charles always be rambling.
Yeah, exactly. And well, oh man, I'm trying to figure out where to start, man. We got everything.
Well, I'll give this disclaimer. Andrew says he may be on at 7:30, 7:45.
Okay,
so it's a very will he, won't he situation.
So we'll hold off. We'll hold off on NHL talk for a bit because he could talk a little bit about that. We'll hold off a little bit on baseball because he needs to show up. Come on. Look,
no one's safe from the clapback.
Exactly. So it is sports, and we must take the clap. Okay, but please take that out of context, please. And yeah. There's. Oh, let's dive into it,
basketball?
Charles. Well, I mean, we could talk about basketball because what we can do, Charles, is we can have a semi-players. I mean, it is essentially a very large players we remember to forget because, man, something's went down in the NBA, but not on the court, but off the court, and not by guys that are currently playing, but a bunch of old heads, retired guys. Well, not old heads. No, these are guys that just were in the league most recently.
5-7 year window.
Exactly. So these guys are recent retirees. Let's say late 2000s, early 2010s NBA players, right? So yeah. I'm trying to find the graphic here. Oh man. Okay, there it is.
It's so long.
I haven't used this one in forever. Yeah, and BU. Yeah, sports are indeed happening. They are indeed BU. They are indeed, and then hockey is happening. Hockey is happening at Augustana because they're going to get a D1 college hockey program out there in Sioux Falls. So that's happening. So that's exciting for them. Come on, Florida State. Come on, let's get a D1 hockey program in Florida. All right, let's be the first to do it because, I mean, yeah, we won against North Carolina. That was fine in football and stuff. But how about a sport that I can have hope for? Right? All right, and we have a college basketball program that's been getting better, but we haven't won anything, so and our baseball program still can't win the College World Series. So let's get something that maybe we can win a national championship in college hockey. I think we can entice a lot of people to come on down to Florida and play there. All right, the weather is good enough, right, in Tallahassee during the winter. That works too. A lot better than Huntsville, Alabama, which is the only other Southern D1 program I can think of outside of Arizona State. So yeah, we could be the next Arizona State. Okay. Oh well, I was rambling. Yeah. So let me get the list here, Charles. So what went down? Well, yeah.
Ponzi scheming.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this is that it is not something recent in sports because you had an NFL equivalent over in the NFL where you had former players who were basically trying to front medical expenses and costs for particular items and equipment. And the biggest thing that came out of that I recall in the NFL was Clint Portis being the forefront of it, big time disappointment. So you had something very similar in the NBA. What surprises me about it in comparison to the NFL is that these are a lot of dudes that we know.
Yeah.
Whoa, I'm just bringing up the names of the NFL health fraud thing just to show a comparison of like dudes who were kind of like straight up cheating because they weren't really relevant. But in basketball, these were guys that were highly sought, highly loved.
So here we go.
Faces of the franchise.
So this is what's happening. So we got 18 NBA players and one wife of one of the players. So that's 19 people. Okay, it was about $2 million that these guys kind of colluded together to try and defraud the NBA health and welfare benefit plan. So yeah, basically a healthcare plan for retired players. That's between the NBA and the Players Association. So they were just kind of skimming some money off the top from a lot of fake insurance claims, health insurance claims. And so this happened over the course of a few years. And it's very serious because this carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. I don't know if all of these guys will receive anything close to that.
Probably not. But whoever was the head runner is going to get the most
the head runner was Terrence Williams. He was the ringleader of all of this. So Terrence Williams, and here's the list, Charles, of the 18 players. All right, this is the worst lineup for a Super Smash Brothers game ever, but
still probably better. Hold on, still probably better than the old Charlotte Bobcats lineup, though.
Well, I guess some of these guys were former Charlotte Bobcats, so so that's saying something there. We got Milt Palacio. We got Sebastian Telfair, yes.
Yeah, know Sebastian Telfair, the Phoenix Suns, man.
We got Antoine Wright. We got Darius Miles. We got Ruben Patterson, Eddie Robinson, Gregory Smith, Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Big Baby. The guy who was loved for being goofy and affable and, a heart and soul kind of guy, cheating everybody. Now he's going to be doing that tongue action in jail. If anybody doesn't know, go look at the gif of Big Baby Davis when he does a little slurping thing with his tongue.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be joined by Mr. Kelly in prison.
We got Jamario Moon. We got Alan Anderson. We got Tony Allen.
He wasn't just stealing balls, kids. He was stealing paychecks, stealing insurance frauds. The guy was an A1 defender.
Yep.
Like, when you think about Kobe has talked about Tony Allen. I think we talked about that a couple shows ago about who was the guy he never wanted to play against, and it was Tony Allen. Boy, he wasn't just swiping balls. He was swiping invoices.
Yeah, we got Shannon Brown. We got William Bynum. We got Melvin Ellie. There's a Charlotte Bobcat for you. We got Christopher Douglas Roberts, and we got Tony Roten. But
another Tony Roten, another bench player that I think he was on Memphis as well.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of role players and stuff like that, but they're significant. So
compared to the NFL, which it was just Clint Portis. I was looking into it and a bunch of guys I really didn't know.
Yeah.
And then, Clinton was just, we know why Clinton's there. Convicts. It happens. I get it.
And I don't know. I mean, we can all agree that most likely what these guys were broke. They probably had no money, but they did have an avenue of getting healthcare and stuff like that. You know what? And Terrence Williams like, listen, guys, we messed up in our financial planning for our retirements and stuff like that. But guess what? We can do something. We can create a scheme here, and apparently,
And that's the thing too. These are federal charges. Y'all
yeah.
thought it was hard to find work with just a DUI felony?
Mm.
Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, so these
Good
guys,
luck.
these guys
You're
are,
defrauding, so that's always coming in. To give
so,
some insight in the legal world, you can get misdemeanors, whatever. People aren't going to care. Job applications, stuff like that. You get a felony, you're out.
yeah,
You're at a federal charge, you're out. You get something that is fraud, you get something that is of that high level, perjury, lying, stuff of that nature. That's stuff that's
this
even
is,
brought into the courts
yeah,
that might not be relevant at all
I
to
mean,
your case itself, and they're still going to bring it because it's attacking the credibility of the witnesses.
fraud is a big no-no for,
And health insurance fraud.
it is a
Woo.
big no-no. Like in my line of work in immigration, it is one of I can't tell you which is worse, having hard drugs on you or doing fraud. So it's up there, right? I think I would rather be caught with cocaine than if I were an immigrant than be caught doing fraud, because
I'd
man,
rather do that than forge papers, man.
it is
Forge
no
insurance benefits,
bueno.
anything like that. You can't escape the tax man either.
Nope.
That's probably how it all came to head.
Yeah.
If we were guessing, then is that something went off
Yep.
on the reporting, someone snitched on it, someone got it.
Yep.
Because here's the thing, I don't know how to advocate this because I think we still live in a culture of snitches get stitches. But if you do anything with your buddies, you're gonna probably want to be like, oh, he's getting 20 years, but I can get 3. Shit, man. The Wire said it best. You only go to jail for 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
It's the day you go in and the day you come out.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of plea deals. No, don't worry.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna want look. They said Terrence Williams is the ringleader, and I don't know who they got to first. I mean, he might have been the one they got to first, and he's like, look, I'll rat out everybody else, and I mean, it might be that way. I haven't really read too much into it, to be honest. All
That's
I know is
American gangster stuff. Where I was the guy who did it, but I'm gonna cinch out everybody else.
Exactly. All I know is that there's some very serious charges here, and I think Terrence Williams also got hit up with like an identity theft thing that's like an additional 2 years max. So, but yeah. This is real serious for these guys. I mean, yeah, and so it's really surprising, but I guess because of the
I just love how it came literally like a month after the NFL one.
yeah.
Like I feel like an agent must have been there or a former agent who tried to play against the wall.
Yeah, and heck, maybe there's a connection, right? Maybe someone's like, "Hey, look, there's another thing going down in the NBA," Maybe
but it is too coincidental for me to kind of disregard it, personally speaking.
I mean, that's really
because agents represent both organizations.
Exactly.
There must be a causal thing. Someone kind of gave an idea.
Yep. So, yeah, that's what's been going down. That's like the big NBA news, to be honest.
Well,
you got the vaccination stuff, and
that is something I want to focus on because we'll give Andrew, I guess, the benefit of the doubt. I think we could draw out 20 minutes on some NBA stuff when it comes to that.
I mean, yeah, okay. So we got Kyrie. God, I don't want to talk too much.
What
about
a
Kyrie
polarizing figure. Like
Yeah.
I love what he's doing to kind of help African American Black culture outside of the NBA. I think he's a good person. And then he does stuff like, I'm gonna do my own research on these vaccines.
Oh
and I love
God.
Jeff Van Gundy for calling him out. It was like, do you have a lab? I don't know if you've seen that clip. I think I sent it to you guys. But he's basically on there the preseason. It's like, I want to know what he means by getting your own research, getting your own information. Do you have your lab? Are you conducting your own tests? You're conducting your own resources. And then Jeff Van Gundy. And here's the thing about Jeff Van Gundy. Sometimes I feel I'm tired out by him after him being there for so long.
Right.
But he basically Larry David it. He curbed enthusiasm very well when he goes and says there's smarter people outside of the NBA doing so.
Right.
And the thing about Kyrie is
Kyrie didn't finish college. Come on now.
I know, right? But and Kyrie's also young. He's 26 now, 27.
Yeah.
So there still might be a different sense of immaturity, and I feel athletes have taken the mindset of how do I want to say this?
Contrarianism.
not contrarianism. It's more about like it's a personal decision. Whereas there's a lot of people out there in the working world who are not benefited by the idea of if they're forced to retire today, they will be millionaires. That doesn't work into it at all whatsoever. These are people where there's plenty of jobs and industries that require you to get vaccinated for the company's sake, for the people and the health and safety and the public welfare. And Kyrie doesn't like it, and it's kind of like, but you'll feed in some conspiracy theories about the Earth being flat because that's Kyrie. You even broke Andrew Wiggins, and here's the thing that cracked me about Andrew Wiggins: he's not a superstar, so his personal status is like whatever.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting about the Kyrie thing is not so much of his beliefs to it and everything else. Like I said, polarizing figure. I like him, I think, as a person for the social justice cause that he's in there. I think there's a lot of stuff that I feel that's right about. He was very anti-bubble, and I was kind of anti-bubble, for obvious reasons, because the Heat loss and maybe what would have happened if we did it, who knows. But joking aside, it's then you get, I don't want to say it's boneheaded, but people are using these platforms of like, it's my personal decision. I'm like, no, personal decision might be like a person's right to choose, but not necessarily on vaccinations. We all have to go to school and get vaccinated. What I find interesting that has developed out of this is now
you
Sean
didn't deny your tetanus shot,
exactly, or mumps and all that. But Sean Marks has basically said that they're not going to pay Kyrie as a part-time player. So what are you going to do? Because you have seen nothing in the NBA PA and they have not thought about this, where you're going, because you had your COVID opt-out pay and you get a reduced part of your salary. That's been prevalent, all the things, but you have not had a anti-vaccination pay. And now this is mandatory in Brooklyn or in New York, in the state of New York, as it would be in LA and all these other states. So it's the idea of like, now are you failing to comply with league rules? And can that be a suspension of benefits? Because here's the thing about Kyrie. Guys always hurt anyway.
Exactly. It honestly doesn't concern. I honestly feel like the Nets shouldn't even be concerned about it, because it's like, look, you've been playing without him.
What if you have to pay him though?
Whatever. That's the Nets being the Nets.
I don't want to pay him if he's not doing anything.
That's the Nets being the Nets. That's their own damn fault. All right, they knew what they were getting into when they traded for him. All right, they knew what they were getting into.
I mean, a team of the
Nets, the Jets, the Mets. That's why they rhyme. That's why they suck.
A team of a weight loss James Harden, assuming he stops eating the chicken wings,
that's why they're
and
the
a
other
Kevin
New
Durant,
York team.
Could probably go further alongside some of the guys that they have. But you want Kyrie on the belief that Kyrie could just kind of break off and defend and not get double team out. Like, we know Kyrie's an exceptional talent. However, I'm also, Kyrie's never been in he's an MVP ranking. But he's a very good player. He's near great.
He used to be elite, I would say, but I don't know how much of that was just him. Okay, I'll say that the year he was that 1 year in Boston, right? After, like, that's when but then afterwards he stopped being elite after that. That was it. That's it.
Injuries mount up. Now it's just potential. And it matters because he's still so young and he's still going to have an influence in the league, and the NBA is a very player-focused league.
Yeah, I mean,
so
Derrick Rose is still around, so of course he's going to be.
Derrick Rose is still around.
Yeah.
So imagine when you have somebody who is very big into the influence of society and the age group. He's basically looked like a generational torch of some of the young guys that were coming in, because he came out of it young. He was doing everything to do.
And then he left Cleveland to do his own thing. It's like, I don't want to play under LeBron's shadow, Like that was like the thing.
Was another ring more than he does. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyrie's 29, but that's still about another 3 to 4 years with his style of play. Wow, he's been in the ring in the game that long. Damn, I'm old. But I find it interesting because who are we waiting on? I'm waiting on hearing from Chris Paul, Mr. NBA, president of the association, coming in there, because he's kind of vessling. He's basically getting the massaging of, we have to hear about stuff like that, but we know he's vaccinated, and what if you have more states that lead into it? You have 30 teams in the NBA. Some of them are based in the same state. So we're going to say, 25 states? Let's make it fair. Don't make me do math, please. 25 states require vaccinations. Those 25 states tend to be the states that those teams are at. Yeah. So you can't even do a part-time player. So what Kyrie had to do is just take the COVID opt-out money and get paid peanuts. And maybe it's that time where you go to your agent and the agent's like, hey, man, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Or what did I tell you guys the other day? I'm like, Kyrie, just retire. You got the ring. People know your name. I think he'll be memorable for another 10 years anyway. Just get You're not going to beat the NBA.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's probably. I would assume he has a financial advisor to make sure he doesn't do any crazy stuff. So yeah, he's probably good with the money. He's not going to be in a healthcare fraud scheme, I would assume.
I would hope not. But he's probably like healthcare. That's just the government trying to kill you. So yeah. I don't believe he would be there anyway. But you're seeing a lot of other players bend to the will because at the end of the day, the NBA is a money-making business. Right now, you are the second most popular sport, and it's not even like 1-2. It could be easily 1A, 1B. With the money that you're making into it, you're going to want to really build out. You're really going to want to develop. You're really going to want to go from there because what are you going to want? More money. What does more money lead to? Higher revenue, higher benefits post-play, better transition into television, better transition into franchise.
Raise that salary cap, all that stuff. Yeah,
you could be like James Jones, man. Being a GM of an overrated Phoenix team, but you could be not an overrated GM, just an overrated Phoenix team, building in something. Don't we want this? Don't we need this? And that's the big picture. Everybody's looking to just kind of have longevity because you have to see where the organization would be 10 years from now, 15 years now, to be able to survive COVID and then get the fans back, especially all the country. Look at baseball. Baseball's slumping, man. Baseball's dying out because they didn't plan the things right. They didn't involve.
There was an article that I read, like all the crazy stuff baseball is trying to, like, they might make the bases bigger. They're gonna be doing some stuff from like the Atlantic League where you can steal first base if like when you're at bat or something like. There's some experimental stuff going down. So yeah. Oh, wait a second. Freddie has sent something on the Discord page. So hold on. We'll take a look at that. But yeah.
All right, I'm reading it right now, quote for quote, bar for bar, line for line. Multiple sources of direct knowledge of Irving have told the Athletic that Irving is not anti-vaccine. The stance is that he is upset that people are losing their jobs due to vaccine mandates. Is a stance Irving has complained to close teammates. To him, it's about a grander fight than the one on court, and Irving is challenging and perceived control societies. It's a decision that he believes he is capable to make given his current life dynamics. Kyrie wants to be a voice for voiceless. Okay, but if you're purposely playing the martyr, people are going to hate you. I'm just saying it outright. Because you can be vaccinated and still say, hey, I still wasn't like this. Where do you guys can go from there? But the whole idea of the vaccine or being anti-vaccine, I would feel thinking it all through would be more about like being part of the business. Because imagine if he was inclusive in the NJPW or in society and the community. Because at the end of the day, let's look at the big picture. Also, what's the big picture is that what if and we haven't had it happen yet, fortunately, but what if Kyrie gets it and dies? What if Kyrie gets it and it's just so much that it affects his respiratory thing and he doesn't die, but he can't perform? So it's a health and safety thing. And yes, people are losing their jobs, but
I mean, that's
unless you're on the eat the rich proponent, that's what's going to happen because this is health and safety protocol. And it's also about keeping the money flowing because money is what? Sustenance. It is blood. It is part of the everyday dynamics, whether you're small and small
regular Joe
or a big industry.
Yeah.
So is it just bigger than what someone wants to be? Because I don't know. Reading that statement makes me feel like he just wants to be a margin every single thing, and I don't think that's what he's trying to be.
Yeah, or he's just woefully miscommunicating his message is not coming across. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, BU has a very good. I would agree with. Well, it's not. And here's the thing about opinions in life, especially when you're young or old, is sometimes opinions are not articulated well. I'm alive for 32 years. I've been a competent human being for probably 5 of them. And what I think and what I say might not be inconsistent, but they just might not line up to what I mean. BU has a good point. He says, frankly, the issue is that Kyrie, like so many others, are making the mistake of assuming that getting vaccinated is a personal choice, not a social one. Agreed. And then like of all of the hills to die on in order to give a voice of voiceless, that is not one. And it's just it's a complex situation. And I think part of the idea is maybe Kyrie's line of thought, and also to give benefit of the doubt to the NBA and the NJPW, is that they don't want to address this as a complex issue of all the factors we've spoken on and spoken about. And they just want to say it's a simple thing, personal choice, or a simple thing of this or that. Because here's my thing. How are you going to be a voice of the voiceless if you're not allowed to play. You're going to have to take a opt-out payment, not get your full amount, and you're not even going to be allowed to kind of propel anyway. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to be Twitter finger it the way a lot of tough guys do, and that's why the clapback segment's coming in. But basically, you're just going to be like Charles in his dirty little room with one pile of clean area and nothing else is clean, with bad facial hair and just drinking a Mountain Dew and saying, "Ha." How are you going to break that?
Because his absence would be, yeah, like Kyrie not playing is already like a thing already. It's
Exactly.
like I said, okay, Kyrie's not going to play. Well, he hasn't been playing anyways, so it doesn't even matter.
Is it fair? Is it terrible to say? And I'm probably going to get flack for it, but I'm going to own it because I'm going to use this. History is a teacher, and I'm using comparison. Is it to say that he maybe, or this is being construed as the Muhammad Ali moment, and this is nothing that is any of that? And when we talk about the Muhammad Ali moment, is when he didn't want to go overseas in the draft,
Yeah.
and to war, and how he was basically victimized beyond belief. And I love me some boxing. You know me, I love me a little bit of that Muhammad Ali life. And that's the first thing that really kind of draws a comparison, because you're trying to do this whole voice the voiceless thing. That's what I think of. What was Ali's statements? I'm not going to go over there and kill nobody. Never insulted me when I got people here insulting me. And I kept it very G-rated PG of the things that were said.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you look into it. But the wheel's going to turn, and is Kyrie, if that is his true intent, BU and Freddie, the question is this, is that are you even going to accomplish anything by doing it in this manner? Because like I said, I like some of his social justice movements that he's kind of done, because I think sometimes you need that a little bit in this world, whether or not it's the best approach, but sometimes awareness to show everybody's emotions, not just the one kumbaya emotion. However, big however, what are we accomplishing here? If it just leads to Kyrie's on the season, he's a distraction for the Nets, at least. It's not a distraction to me. I'm a Heat fan. No Kyrie in Brooklyn. This is perfect. I'm like,
yeah.
Heat at 6.
Oh boy. Yeah, and BU's making some good points with some of these things.
Very good.
Yeah. So all right, so that's the NBA stuff, and it'll sort itself out. All right, it doesn't matter for Kyrie. It really, like, his message isn't really getting across, and he hasn't been playing anyways. For me, it's like, you're such a non-factor at this point, and your flat Earth thing and all that stuff. Like I really don't care at this point. And I don't know I don't know what his pulse is with regards to. I'm sure he's got a gigantic following and stuff like that from social media, and I get that, but I don't know. It's not coming across for me. But yeah, okay. Where were we? So yeah, that's the NBA stuff, and Andrew's still not here, so I guess we can talk about the. Oh, actually, hold on, Charles. I actually set up. I've got. I don't know if this is gonna be a theme, but I've got nice segues from segment to segment. Okay, and this.
You want me to do the Vanna White pose for us?
So so we haven't done a Gottlieb's Goons in a bit, and you know what, Kyrie, we could I guess. BU actually presented one to us recently on the Discord page about a certain individual doing a Nazi salute during the U.S. national anthem during a BU hockey game. So that was very disgusting, and the fact that nobody did anything about it while he was there. Like, this isn't the whole dinger thing with the Rockies and stuff like that. This is like full blown, like, oh, that's what that, like, there was a photo, there was everything. I don't want to show it on the video format of the podcast, but
we would get all the wrong kind of followers. We'll become more popular than we've ever been.
Oh yeah, we'll be making,
but then Parlor, we're gonna get Parlor.
Like, I know we're shills. I get we're shills, but we're not gonna sell out like that, right? Exactly. Okay, so it was it was Northwestern. It was Northeastern. Sorry, Northeastern University versus Quinnipiac. So sorry, BU. I just assume everything's BU related with you, but it was Northeastern versus Quinnipiac at the Icebreaker tournament at the DCU Center. So yeah, that went down. That was not good. Not a great image for hockey. Who is, look, they're on ESPN now. We're trying to grow the game, and we need to be, like, hockey's had race issues and issues with inclusion. I mean, it's a very it's an expensive sport to play. Okay, All right, so it's not like hockey compared to basketball and soccer. It is an expensive sport to play. Getting all the equipment, getting the skates, getting your sticks. Sticks break and all that stuff.
But it's pretty inexpensive at that hockey place that Francisco talked about that I don't know the name of because it escaped me.
Pirani's Hockey World, yeah.
Pirani's Hockey
World.
You
can get all the best deals to make it easier on your wallet, for sure. For sure. Just go to our website and check that out. But overall, in general, it's very expensive. Ice time is very precious. And it is also expensive, especially for anybody here, like if you know, like here in South Florida, right? I mean, we only have like 5 hockey rinks in the entire area, right? And so there's ice time is precious. It is precious. That's why you wake up at 5 a.m. just to get practice on at 6, because there's a bunch of other youth teams and beer leagues and all that stuff that want to get that precious ice time. And then you got figure skaters. You got okay. I'm going off on a massive tangent, but yeah, NHL has had problems with that. Hockey in general, sorry. We've had issues where bananas are thrown on the ice. And, of course, there was that one time about 8 years ago when I called Canadians racist, and they got really angry at me. So I've pissed off Canada before as well. This was before social media was as big. But that was my first run, and I was like, yeah, all right, this is great. I thoroughly enjoyed that, to be honest. All right, I actually did. But no, it's a problem, and we're trying to clean it up, and the NHL is trying to as well. It's great that they're on ESPN. It's a wider reach, and I'm going to assume it's better coverage than what NBC was providing. So we got that going. So that's cool and all. They're going to be ESPN, ESPN Plus. I don't think NHL.tv is a thing anymore because of that. And we got Hulu broadcasting games. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So that's happening tonight. But Charles, we got to get to another goon, and it's the guy that is featured on our title page or our title thumbnail.
I mean,
John Gruden has entered the chat, everybody. Oh, man.
Goon, he set the standard that can never be beaten.
Oh no.
And the people on the internet have set a standard that I have loved.
So much. Memes. Especially when it ties to the Urban Meyer situation.
You mean to tell me that a guy who is portrayed as who was actually a dick for 20 years is actually a dick in real life? Wow. Shaka.
So
take it away, Francisco. Right. Tell the world about John Gruden.
Our buddy John Gruden. I'm just gonna put up the Urban Meyer John Gruden memes in the background because what he did was very serious and very not good. But when you put it in relation to what Urban Meyer did, and the fact that Urban Meyer has gotten off in many different ways. We could take that however you want to take it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and I'm all for it, to be honest. All right, we got Barstool Big Cat here. We're seeing there's a new Gruden email drop. I mean, the memes are great. It's great. It's hilarious. It's fantastic. Urban Meyer, after finding out John Gruden took over as Donkey NFL Coach of the Week, not Coach of the Week. No, this is of the year of the decade, maybe. We're only very recently into the 2020s, and this might be the worst of the decade already. Okay, this is gonna be hard to top, for sure. But wow. All right, so John Gruden, 10 years ago, when he was working for ESPN as an analyst, I guess it was during the labor, the NFL lockout, right? The labor negotiation stuff, when there was a threat that the season wouldn't happen. And John Gruden was like, well, I want football to be played. He's one of those guys, right? He just looks like it. So he sent a series of emails
to Bruce Allen.
Yeah, exactly.
GM at Washington.
Exactly.
Because they have connections together from back in the day.
Yeah, about the situation with and really, it wasn't... the initial things that got leaked out were about the NFL's president of the union, right? And essentially, he said some very racist things about his facial features. Let's just say that, right?
Well,
And
you got to tell them what they said because it's the lie that Gruden said after that. He
okay,
said what, DeMaurice Smith had rubber lips,
yeah,
and
exactly.
he says that when he jaw jacking somebody who is a liar. I'm like, I thought the term for that was Two Face, not rubber lips. The only time I think of rubber lips is from Chris O'Donnell, Batman and Robin, when Poison Ivy kisses him. He just
Oh
sounds
my
like
god! How
rubber
many?
lips are amusing
All
with
right,
this.
bad movies that I watched a million times.
That's a
Batman and
bad
Robin.
movie.
I mean, I didn't think of it when I was a kid. It's campy and it's cheesy and it's corny.
Arnold Schwarzenegger tries so hard in that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Oh,
I
he
loved
tries.
him as Mr. Freeze. It was great.
He's so good. He's so good.
It was all the puns. I mean, God.
Everybody chill.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Oh man. Yeah. Oh wait, I went off on a tangent. Anyways, he said some stuff, but more stuff leaked out about what he said about Roger Goodell. I mean, it ran the gamut. It was racist. It was homophobic. It was misogynistic. He did all of it. I mean, he 100%.
He said some bad things.
If this was a video game, he 100%ed it, right? He got all of the achievements and all of the trophies. Whatever console you were
He
on.
made a casserole of problems.
This is the fruit cake of
Of things you don't do,
you think at all of emails.
or at least not lie to the public like you did in such a manner, because he was saying, I was defending the players and I was very upset.
I don't know why I find it so funny, but I do. But it's just because this somebody sat on this. It's people are sitting on all of these things. It just makes you imagine what else are people sitting on? Because this is 10 years.
Oof,
I mean,
and that's the thing. People say it's from 10 years ago. You know, my friends in our group chat, he's like, man, because some people have a feeling about cancel culture if they think it's cancel culture and all that stuff. I'm like, guys, it's not from really 10 years ago. It's starting from 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Washington and Bruce Allen, they were in charge for a long time over there until, 2-3 years ago? If that, if I recall. So it's not a situation where these emails, and they just didn't tell it for it because they're not going to publicly release everything. This was part of an investigation to the Washington football team's toxic environment, because what was happening there, you had the GM and the owner who were forcing cheerleaders to do topless poses. So what are they called? It's the Harvey Weinstein of football, where essentially you're using power to make women do things that are derogatory against their nature and hiding under the guise of, oh yeah, it's consensual, but it wasn't consensual. They're just held back onto it because what's your success and merits and everything like that. And then of course, I think they even said that Allen was sending some of those topless photos to Gruden. I might be pushing my reach there, but that could come up. Yeah. So what else was there, Francisco? That's the scary part.
I mean,
what else do they have?
I mean, is there more?
He's revealed some of the statements he's revealing to be is misogynistic.
Yeah, that's what
homophobic,
like I said, it's the 100%. It's the
100%. and what I find baffling is that you have a lot of people who either want to minimize the language utilized, and they don't understand the concept of what it means to be in a position of power, because these are people who will probably never be in a position of power in their life. I'm just going to call a spade, or how their ad hominem of the situation is to correlate what has happened to Gruden to be akin to Deshaun Watson. We're going to talk about that in a bit, because right now we're still gooning on Gruden. Oh man. Okay. So hear me out. If we had to retire Gottlieb's goons, Gooning with Gruden is something fantastic. I'm just stating.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were some of the things that was coming into it. And what's apparent is that if he's using racist comments, what does he have a team of? African American, Hispanic wrestlers, football players as well. And if he's using homophobic statements such as saying, the F word, or not that F word, but the other bad F word, he has Carl Nassib, who is the for one of the only openly gay players who happens to be on his team. Mm-hmm. How do you think all that's going to come out? Oh, and by the way, you lied to the media because you were trying to be like, my bad. And you probably lied to Mark Davis as well.
Yeah.
But continue, Francisco, and we'll talk about the end result. What happened on this beautiful Monday that just passed?
Okay, so John Gruden, and I found this out via the because I wasn't really paying it. Like I just like okay, what? The week happened. The Raiders lost, so that was funny. We'll get to that at some point. But I was like, you sent me the Barry McCockner tweet with John Gruden's.
I was so obsessed with it.
John Gruden's resigning statement, but mixing it with Tom Brenneman's Castellanos to drive it to deep left field, and that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. So I was like, oh, that's funny, and then I was like, oh, that's real, and that's what I was. This has been funny to me. I know it's very. It's hurt a lot of people, but it's funny to me how it all transpired because it's I just keep seeing it in context of what happened with Urban Meyer. It's like, well, he went to horny jail and all that stuff, and we get that. And like his wife came out with one tweet and stuff, and then she shut down her account and stuff like that. And they're trying to sweep it under the rug and stuff like that. But now it may not be swept under the rug, but it is nothing in compared to what this is, and it's just funny. It's just funny how much of a downfall this was for Gruden. It came out of the booth and stuff, went back to at the time Oakland and stuff, trying to rebuild them back to their glory and stuff like that, get them to Vegas and have a promising team. Which they might. The Chiefs have been playing not up to their potential. But we'll see what happens now. Anyways, that's me rambling and stuff like that. But it's just a funny fall from grace. But Charles, he's a goon. He's a goon for sure. This might be a goon of the year moment right here, right? And you know what? You know what makes this even like I say I laugh, but I didn't laugh with this. Charles, did you see Randy Moss's impassioned statement about this?
I haven't. I heard Keyshawn, and that's why I sent it to you earlier.
You saw Keyshawn.
I want to hear actual players who played for the man. Yeah, because it's great. That's the best kind. That's like the Scottie Pippen on some Hennessy talking smack about Michael Jordan.
Keyshawn played with him, with the Bucks, and that's where they won a Super Bowl and stuff. And I think Randy did play with him, right? No. He was already out of Oakland, but
he was out of Oakland.
Yeah, exactly.
But Randy been around for a bit, and
so Randy Moss gave an impassioned speech on ESPN on their morning NFL countdown Sunday, right? And he cried during it. He cried during it. Like he's like, there are guys in the locker room and they feel very strongly, like he as a player, having a coach that would say such things, especially a coach that coaches mainly black players, right, in the NFL.
Also, Randy Moss been around, man. He was a good old Southern boy back then.
Exactly.
So, the culture that he had to deal with. Keep that in mind because it wasn't just he's not speaking from a professional standpoint. Probably a time when he was a boy and a young man in college and high school and middle school.
So he's a goon for making Randy Moss cry.
How dare you make Randy Moss cry? Right. Randy Moss is a nice guy. He's eased up. Everybody just hates Randy for mooning the Packers, but you know what?
No, Joe Buck hates Randy Moss for doing that. Joe Buck is a fucking dick. Anyways, and he's a boring ass announcer. Anyways,
and he has bad facial hair.
Oh yeah. And look, I've always like the Joe Buck hate. I can understand. Look, the way he called the 2003 World Series. I mean, when Miguel Cabrera hit that home run off Roger Clemens in game 4, he called it like he was watching paint dry, and good on Miguel Cabrera for hitting a home run off that fraud. Anyways, where am I? Randy Moss, impassioned speech, crying, talking to Matt Hasselbeck and Rex Ryan there. Rex Ryan's a coach. Like Rex Ryan, he's a cool guy. I wouldn't think Rex Ryan would ever get involved in something like that.
I think Rex Ryan's more of a bro.
Exactly. He's too much of a bro. Come on, man. All right, and he's open foot fetish, that's some bro stuff right there, right?
I feel like this is going to open up a debate of
shaming
who's the most non-racist coaches out there. Just put that. God. I don't see Andy Reid whatsoever. Bill Belichick, I'm looking at you. No, that's inflammatory. Okay. We won't even say that here.
Yeah. So, but this ties into, like I told you, I'm going to tie into this. Let's haul y'all, and we're going to do Randy Moss, right? Because Randy, I don't want you to cry no more. You're a Hall of Famer, okay? And you deserve to be happy, my dude. You deserve to be happy. So Randy Moss. Yeah.
Randy Moss.
So, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Wide receiver. Went to Marshall. Drafted in 1998. First round, 21st overall. And what a rookie season. With the 98 Minnesota Vikings. Probably one of the best teams to not win a Super Bowl. Exactly. Yeah, so 1998 Offensive Rookie of the Year, single season touchdown record, 17 with those Vikings. And, of course, they lost on a missed field goal in the NFC Championship game against the Atlanta Falcons that year. Played between 1998 and 2012, Charles, for the Minnesota Vikings, the Oakland Raiders, the New England Patriots, the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee was a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee.
And he went back to Minnesota at one point for a bit. And
he went to San Francisco.
One season off, and then final stint with San Francisco and played in the Super Bowl with them. That was the Kaepernick Super Bowl right there. So, yeah, that was his final game of his career. He never won a Super Bowl, but he had two shots at it. He was with those 49ers and, of course, the regular season undefeated New England Patriots that lost to the New York Giants.
Record for TDs, right?
Yeah, single season. Him and Tom Brady combining. He got the single season touchdown one that year in 2007. Was that
not like one of the greatest things you've ever seen?
Yeah, well, as a Dolphins fan, I had to witness it, right? So, comeback player of the year, a 6-time Pro Bowler, 1996 Division I AA national champion. He was on the NFL 100th anniversary team. He became a verb. Right? You know you're somebody when you became a verb. When you moss somebody. Come on. Yeah, y'all remember that from the early 2000s? I do. And Randy Moss. Randy Moss. And also, one other tidbit, Charles. He also bought a NASCAR motor team. That
is so baller.
Back in 2008 through 2012, he bought Morgan Dollar Motorsports, renamed it to Randy Moss Motorsports, and they played in the Camping World Truck Series for NASCAR. So that's what he did. So that was such a random bit of info that I did not know. I was like, oh, that is super interesting, Randy Moss. And Charles, I'm not done yet. Because I haven't done small segments in a while, right?
Small segments are good.
Yeah, exactly.
It keeps us focused.
Yeah, and it
brings us back.
A little variety doesn't hurt.
Variety is what, Francisco? The spice of life.
Exactly. And did you see that video I saw with the guy and he had the armband with the spice in the sauces and stuff? I mean, that people say that's an ammo holder for like guns and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a fine way of using that. Oh, that is.
I think Bob's Burgers has something.
Well, that was the spice racks and spice ups. That episode between Linda and Bob. So yeah. Anyways, Charles. Speaking of motorsports, we got an uncultured swine here, Charles.
Oh man, I tried. You see, we got to remember where we started from, kids.
So. Yeah, I was like, motorsports. I mean, this is all interesting, Charles. And I was like, I haven't talked about motorsports in a bit, but I got an uncultured swine. I tried to rope Doug into this one, but he could not pop out for this episode. But I'm going to go with Red Bull Racing, Charles. We're going to learn a little bit about them. Okay?
I thought they were just a Are you saying it's Red Bull Racing
Red,
Company or just Red Bull?
well, Red Bull sponsors so many things, Charles.
Okay, yeah, that's
know.
why I just need clarity. I need clarification.
I mean, Red Bull, like you got their what's it the fluke tag or whatever they call it with the planes. They have a soccer team, the New York Red Bulls. I mean, they're everywhere. They do everything. All right, I'm sure they got some esports teams. Exactly, sports empire, right? Maybe the Rays should be Red Bull. Maybe that's the way they stay in Tampa. The Tampa Red Bulls.
Nothing is going to stop the Montreal Manta Rays from happening, so we just have to accept that.
All right.
Oh, when he comes, that's why he don't want to be here.
Yeah,
because he knows I'm gonna come in with that heat, and Francisco's coming with that heat.
Well, I'm not coming with the heat. I understand.
I'm not gonna be bad, but you could agree with me. There was some statements made that maybe he blew his load a little bit too early before he made declarative statements, especially when there was a single elimination game.
I just think.
But we're gonna get to it.
I just think, I don't know, with the Rays, it's just that it's because of how much is on the line that it just became. It's really emotional for anybody who's a Rays fan. There's so much on the line, right? I mean,
when you've never won anything, getting to 100 wins feels good, right? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they got, but it feels like for them, this is essentially almost the plot of Major League, essentially. In a weird way, it is. They have to win, and yet it's worse than Major League because they didn't even they won the American League Championship, and that was it. That was the thing for them. They just won the pennant. They didn't even win the World Series. So it's not just that. It's the fact that the Rays are already a good team, and they're still going to move them. So it's not even that. It's worse than the movie Major League. Oh man. Okay, well, Red Bull Racing. Let's get on it. They were established in 2005, but they trace back to 1997 when they were Stewart Grand Prix, and then they became Jaguar Racing in 1999. They've been in F1 since 2005. They've got 4 constructors things and 4 drivers things from 2010 to 2013. Whatever since then, Mercedes has been dominating. So, but for a bit, Red Bull was dominating. Max Verstappen is the head honcho driver here. He's Dutch, okay, which Austin Powers' father would not like. If anybody remembers Goldmember or Gold, nobody remembers Goldmember. Come on, man.
We remember it. Okay. Unpopular opinion. I can live without those Austin Powers movies.
All of them?
They're better off.
All of them?
They're better off as an SNL skit.
Okay, fine, Charles.
The
second one was bad. I can admit the second one was bad. The first one I liked. The third one I thought they had fresh jokes. So, anyways, he's the youngest driver in F1 history. He debuted when he was 17 years old in 2015. He is the youngest driver to ever win a Grand Prix. He is the first Dutch driver to ever win a Grand Prix. His father was a Formula One driver in the past. And his partner is Sergio Perez. He is Mexican. He has the record for most races raced before getting his first victory when he won in 2020. So he had 190 races before he actually won. And that was at the Sakir Grand Prix. He's been a racer since 2011. And he said that if he wasn't a race car driver, he would have been a lawyer. And
oh, buddy.
Thank God you were good at that, dude, because don't be a lawyer. Never be a lawyer.
Yeah, don't be a lawyer.
No.
Yeah, don't be a lawyer.
Yeah. So that Red Bull wants to make racing fun again. That was their whole thing when they decided to get into motorsports. They wanted to make racing fun again. Their 2005 pit crew, Charles, was dressed as clone troopers to commemorate Star Wars Episode 3. Okay?
That's cool. I can get behind that.
In 2006, the racer David Coulthard, I don't know what this is. Anyways, he finished third, and he appeared on the podium in a Superman cape to promote Superman Returns. Okay? I don't remember anything for Superman Returns.
It was bad.
I don't remember.
What it was.
I don't
Kevin
remember
Spacey
a
and Lex
single
Luthor
thing.
couldn't do it. Case Boswell was not a good Lois Lane. Bryan Singer directed, very pedantic and just in your face. I like Brandon Routh as Superman. I thought the attire was fine, but the movie is like 2 hours and 45 minutes of dullness, and all you have Missy whatever
trying to
coming in
tie
and
it
just
to
like
the original
portraying him.
trilogy. Like I don't.
Like that stuff lives in my head rent free. I actually talked about that movie the other day too with my paralegal. I was like, I don't have because I saw Man of Steel and I have like your man crush money is Jimmy Butler. My man crush for life is Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, this man is just a exquisite specimen of what Superman ought to be. And Warner Bros. Screwed that up.
Yeah, they did. Okay. Anyways, in 2019, they had 007 logos on their cars to celebrate the 107th British Grand Prix. And they had and the race car drivers wore their whatever, the racing suits or whatever they call it, overalls,
gear,
whatever they wear,
gear.
Their suit, they look like single-breasted dinner suits, basically tuxes. They screen printed it just like a minor league team would do in baseball, and that's how they raced. So yeah, and of course the Red Bull X 2010, which was originally named the Red Bull X1, and they developed a fictional racing car, which has been featured in the video games Assetto Corsa, Gran Turismo 5, 6, Sports, prototype vehicle was made to answer Kazunori Yamauchi's question: if you built the fastest racing car on land, one that throws aside all the rules and regulations, what would that car look like? How would it perform? And how would it feel to drive? So they just decided, let's just put it in a video game. And I'm all for it. So, and yeah, there's that. So, yeah, McDonald's, that's more sponsorship for us, right? Heck, we'll dress up like Ronald McDonald and do a show like that if they ever.
One day we're gonna have the BTS meal. We promise.
If they still have it, do they still have it? I thought
we're
they were
still
on
being
Saweetie
sponsored
right
for
now,
it.
Right? Yeah, well, I don't know.
They're still sponsoring it for it, so
participating locations, right? So if you find a McDonald's that does it, go ahead and get it. But yeah, I have to try their new line of the spicy chicken sandwich. I got to try that. No, I tried the spicy chicken sandwich. It was actually pretty good. I got to try
it's me that has to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And where was I? Oh yeah. So that's Red Bull Racing. Oh yeah, we got a new follower. So thank you, Burbura 6001 for listening to us. Check out the podcast if you missed anything from earlier, for sure. So yeah, Charles, so yeah, I tied it all together, Charles. You see that? Went from Goons to Randy Moss, John Gruden to Red Bull Racing. It's all connected. It is all connected. And you know what? While we're here, we're basically at the halfway point. So let's just do it, Charles. Let's go with a word from our non-sponsors. People, places, things, concepts, what have you that we've been enjoying over the past week. And I gotta start, Charles, because it's been a week.
You gotta do it.
I gotta do it, and I am passionate about this next one because, man, this has been. I'm not even finished with the journey, but mine is Metroid Dread.
Ooh.
So Metroid Dread released last Friday on the Nintendo Switch alongside the OLED model, which I don't. If mine ever busted or anything like that, I get the OLED model for sure. From the videos I've seen, the screen is much better for sure. It's a glass screen too. So, but I just got mine recently repaired. Got a brand new screen on mine too. So it's fine. It's fine. But yeah. Metroid Dread, Charles. It's good. It is good. Look, I love the Metroid series. I've played every game in the series so far, even Metroid Prime Pinball. Yes, I own a copy of that alongside the DS Rumble Pack. So don't tell me I'm not a fan. I have Federation Force and Other M too. Okay.
He loves Metroid. Out of all, I think the non-Mario Nintendo affiliations, is that accurate to state?
Metroid. Look, I love Mario, but I feel like Metroid is Nintendo's. It's between this and Zelda as the most consistently good. of their entire franchises. I mean, I know the Fire Emblem games are pretty good too, right? I don't think there's a stinker in any of those either. But Metroid Dread, look, Other M wasn't even a bad game. It was just bad in the relative to the other Metroid games. Okay, Federation Force is now the worst one in the series, and I can see why. But anyways, Metroid Dread represents a lot, Charles. It represents a lot. Okay, for a while, us Metroid fans, we've been sitting here, and after Other M, and then we had Federation Force, and we're like, man, is Nintendo going to give us anything? I was like, don't let this be F-Zero. Don't let this be F-Zero and just die away, right? We need Samus. We need good old Sammy Sosa on our consoles for the future, not just to be the shooty fighter in Smash and that's it. No. We need Samus. We need my woman crush Wednesday every day. Okay, but it seemed like Nintendo was like, okay. Then we got an announcement, Metroid Prime 4, but then their development got messed up, and I don't know when that's gonna come out. Probably for the Switch 4K model, because that's being rumored now. And it was like, okay, fine. But E3, Charles, this year, Nintendo's been pretty good with their announcements. They're kind of their shadow drops of information, and they're like, E3, guys, here's Metroid 5, Metroid Dread, the next one after Fusion, which was Metroid 4. And it's like, you guys were working on a 2D Metroid this entire time? Yeah, it's coming out in like 3 months. Oh my god. Charles, I didn't even pre-order it, but I knew I was going to get it on day one. I knew it.
Is there ever a need to pre-order?
No, not really. Unless it's for a video game console that you really want, you want on day one, sure. But like for video games itself, like the software, nah, never. But yeah, got it day one. Was waiting for me at my door when I came home from work, and I popped that sucker. I've been streaming it this entire time. I've only played it in dock mode. I've been playing it with the handheld mode. This game needs to be spread out across my 4K television, Charles. It's pretty good looking for a Switch game in 2D for sure. There's some hiccups and stuff with the performance, but whatever. It's the Switch. Nintendo's pretty much squeezed every drop of performance out of the damn thing anyways. But the game is good. The level design is great. Metroidvania, right? The exploration, the shooting. At first, Samus, of course, loses all of her powers at the beginning of the game, as per usual. But then you go along, you start exploring, you start figuring out some stuff. There's cutscenes in this game, and they're actually well animated. And there's lore to the Metroid series, and it's actually one of Nintendo's few series where lore matters.
Yeah, and because they connected all to the handhelds in the old school Super Nintendo one, right?
Yeah, no, all the Metroid games are connected. Every single one of them.
Even Prime?
Yeah, even Prime.
I thought Prime was their own gig.
No, Prime is part of the timeline. It sits between the original Metroid and Metroid 2. So all of the Prime games sit, and even the Prime games have their own like mini lore, and that's getting continued in the fourth one. There's a whole thing, Charles. It's a whole thing, and it matters to us, to fans, and Nintendo is actually taking it serious. It seems like they threw away everything that happened in Other M. It's basically the Sonic 06 of the Metroid series, and the gameplay is fluid, Charles. When I mean fluid, it is fluid. It is like Samus controls like everything's on a dime. Everything's on a dime. She moves the way you want her to move. The aiming is great. I played Samus Returns. Having the extra buttons and stuff on the Switch makes this even better than Samus Returns had on the 3DS. It means Samus has more of her arsenal to work with. And the dread part of the title is true as well, because there's a lot of suspense in the game. And especially if you played Metroid Fusion and the way those two games do tie together, there is a sense of dread as to what's happening. And a lot of stuff that's been happening to us in real life with regards to the pandemic, those issues are present in Metroid Dread too. So it's like, oh god, it's everywhere. Everybody's getting infected. And yeah, that's what's happening in this game. Okay. Go play Metroid Fusion. Go find it on a Game Boy Advance or a Wii U. If you can find them, if you feel like getting a Wii U, everybody. And yeah, it's not just me and Charles and the 12 other people with a Wii U. Yeah. Anyways, promo code. Give me some of that space goo.
Okay. Yes, I will be looking.
If you
to
watch
Dread,
my streams, there's points in the game where that matters.
Give me some of that space scoop, Jesus Christ. So I too have a game that we'll be utilizing. I will speak highly of Dread. That will probably be something that I pick up near Black Friday. I get a lot of gift cards. It'll be with things. I enjoy the Metroid series to a degree. I have like a love-hate relationship with Prime, as I was telling you before the show, and maybe it was because of the times. I don't know if you can truly enjoy Metroid.
It might have been the
14.
GameCube controls too. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the Wii versions are a lot of people like the pointer controls, and okay. Anyways,
and it could be, but kids, it is spooky season, and as we did last year in spooky season, what does Charles always make sure to do during spooky season? Play a spooky game. And I don't like horror games.
Metroid's not considered a horror series, but the game has alien. I mean, it's alien inspired. It's inspired by Alien, so we all know this.
So we know it's there, Charles.
But that's a different type of horror, isn't it, Charles?
Exactly. Whether or not it's good is a different story. Because sometimes alien games are good and then they're bad.
Well, those are the game. I'm talking about the movies, but yeah.
The movie. Oh, we love the alien movies. Like Charles about that. But I'm not in the mood for spooky movies yet. It's only October 12th. But I also only have 4 Halloween movies that I must watch, and we'll talk about them after the show because it's us. So when it's a you and I show, we just kind of screw around a little bit.
Yeah.
So last year, my spooky game of the season was Resident Evil 2. And remember, Resident Evil 2 had a split because they divided the story originally where you can either do one run as either Claire or Leon, and then you get the continued story and conclusion to fill in the gaps.
And it's
on
basically
a second playthrough.
It's like an alternate time. Like, it's not a complete remake of the original Resident Evil 2, right?
Yeah, they made it better for the dynamics. Yeah. Last year, Charles loved it. He was a big fan of it. I played as Claire on the first run through, and you would think your boy would turn it in, but that is a lie because I knew that I was going to play through as Leon's story, and so I just beat Resident Evil 2 Leon's story this past weekend. The second playthrough was a lot faster. It was only about 6 hours in comparison to everything else. I cheated. Okay, I went through the walkthrough just like I did last time because I just, this is a game that I played 25 years ago, and I still got to enjoy the experience, but Resident Evil old school style can kind of be rather vexing and annoying to a degree. You're stuck on the whole how you do puzzles, you get no guidance, you have to think it out because it's very 1998, 1999 impression. Tank. Well, they don't have the tank controls this time. It's based off the Resident Evil 7 engine, but it is damn good. I played on my PS5 because that's right. I'm elite now. I don't know how it happens. I get lucky in life. But it was good. It was speedy. It did fill in some bases of it. And usually I don't like I don't like cheap replays. Like initially I was like, I've kind of felt like a cheap replay. And I talked to my friend. He's like, no, go ahead and play it. You get the complete ending of actually what happens in it as opposed because how Claire's story ends in the first one is just like you get like the comical arcade comedy movie ending, and it's just like something's coming up and they all like wave it off with thumbs up. But with Leon, when completing the second run through as the other character, it all summarizes the way it ought to be summarized, and it was enjoyable. And I will say this, Claire is a more badass character. Leon had a more fun story. So I can definitely stick to that. This time he's being chased by the Tyrant. In Claire's story, she's being chased by the G virus. I won't go into any spoilers there, but Leon's more going into being chased by a Tyrant. Leon's probably my favorite character out of the Resident Evil series because I love Resident Evil 4. I replayed that game like 4 times in my life. I got the unlimited rocket launcher. I got the Chicago typewriter. You also get Ada Wong in it. So, Ada's a cool character too. I cannot wait for them to do Resident Evil 4 on this engine, but it was a damn good time. I'm a big fan, man. Resident Evil's hit or miss for some people. I couldn't play the old school stuff, but because the controls were just terrible. And let's stop lying about controls being good.
No,
right?
Resident Evil. Like the first Resident Evil. If you're gonna play it, play the first remake that they made for the GameCube. which they have re-released on like Steam and stuff like that, so you can play a modern version of that, or you can play the remake of the first.
But I love 4. I enjoyed 5. I skipped 6 because when they made it into 30 hours, like, this ain't what I want. I skipped 7 because I wasn't crazy about the swampy vibe, but on my PS5, you get it for free because it's part of the PS Plus free collection. And then I replayed 2 and this one both times when you think on it to get the whole story. Maybe I'll get 3, and then I picked up Resident Evil Village. That's installed. We're going to continue that spooky season. But if you want a good claim to fame to show how remakes are done, how they should be done, how you get high-end graphics with a good engine, a damn good time. It's cheap now. It's probably like $10 used, $15, unused. You really get 2 stories out of it, so you get to all about maybe 17 to 18 hours. It's a good cinematic time. There are some valid scares. You heard me yelling on certain things. They're cheap jump scares, but when those lickers come up, I'm like, ah! And that's what you kind of want in horror. And I'm not in spooky season yet, but after playing over the weekend, I'm kind of like, now I'm kind of in spooky season. Now I want to be scared a little bit. So Resident Evil 2, PS4 is what I got on, but you get on a lot of things. This is part 2. I think this is the only non-sponsor I did that for a video game, at least. That's twice, because I think I did it last year. I'm almost certain I did, but this was planned. I planned this, kids. I planned this. Resident Evil 2 remake, a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Promo code spooky season.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people with spooky season right now. I've been watching a lot of spooky YouTube videos, actually. I watch a lot of like mystery YouTube videos and stuff like that. I mean, it is very spooky right now, and I watch it in the dark too, so I don't know what I'm doing with that. And I haven't played any horror games thus far this month, but Metroid Dread, I'm gonna put it in that category. I feel like this game has those alien vibes to it. There are points in the game where it's like, oh god. It's one of the few Nintendo series where it's like, or they actually don't really hold back too much on the I mean, it's space violence, so they kind of justify it that way, but it's one of the
aliens and zombies. You can be as violent as you want.
Exactly, and it's one of Nintendo's few series that does that. So that's also kind of the reason why I like Metroid as well. It's one of the few ones that get away with that. Unless they make new Eternal Darkness, which would be nice, but they're never going to do that.
They probably should.
Remake Eternal Darkness. Remake Eternal Darkness with some new psychedelic scares. Yeah, that would be great in today's age, because some of them are not gonna translate to today's age. Because some of them were like based on like your TV settings and stuff like that. There was some genuine cool things in that game. Oh man, now I want to play Eternal Darkness again. That was a good game. Anyways, all right, Charles, let's move on, shall we? So yeah, we talked NFL, we talked NBA. You know what, Charles? I thought Andrew would be here by now, but he's not. So we're gonna have to get into it. Yeah, let's go baseball. Let's do it. So we're baseball. Mr. Poopy Butthole, huh?
That's how we're started. Because Mr. Poopy Butthole, for those who don't watch Rick and Morty, is basically the very positive character who's brought in those very difficult, dire situations. If Andrew was here, that is the voice I would give, because you talk about
okay. So
you talk about pain. There's a lot of pain that happened this last week, because to leave you kids off, when we got off on the show, the New York Yankees lost. It's fine. But then we went to the ALDS. The Cardinals lost, so much for an 18-game win streak, because the Dodgers are terrifying. But we started off on the ALDS and the NLDS. That's even worse. I'd rather lose by 6 than by a walk-off, would you?
Well, I mean, too bad Andrew's not here, because he could tell us.
I know. Well, I love how he was like, "I'm sorry for the way I reacted."
It's fine, dude. It's sports. Gosh, man. Look, I remember when I went to a game, the Florida Panthers versus the Winnipeg Jets. I remember this very vividly, where we were barely hanging on to the Southeast Division lead with like 3 games left on the season. And that was when the Jets were in our division, which was really weird for like a season, or 2 seasons, I think. Anyways, yeah, the Panthers blew like a 4-1 lead or something like that and lost in overtime. And so, or no, not even overtime. I think we lost in regulation, like with like 5 minutes left. And I was so pissed. On the car ride back with my sister. I like I was genuinely very very angry. I've never been so angry at a team I supported. That's when I knew I was a hockey fan. That's when I knew I was a hockey fan for sure.
See, I've mellowed out in my old age. I've never really gotten that angry. And I'd even consider like
Well, yeah, I
the
mean that was back in 2011. So yeah, I'm in my early 20s. So
we're different men.
yeah, I'm in my early 20s back then. So yeah. Anyways, Charles. Yeah. So all right. So let's get into it. So all right. Yeah, the Yankees lost in the wild card game to the Red Sox. The Cardinals lost to the Dodgers with a walk off. Like it was a good game. It was a better game than the Yankees game, but yeah, they lost to the Dodgers. And so we had these matchups. So we got the Rays versus the Red Sox. We got the White Sox versus the Astros. In the NL, we got the battle for Hank Aaron's soul between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves. And then we have the classic rivalry between the Dodgers and the Giants. So let's get the Astros versus the White Sox out of the way. This is the series that I watch more games of, to be honest, compared to the other ones. White Sox staved off elimination for one day, had one massive offensive outburst to get like the gentleman's sweep for the Houston Astros. They put it away today. So they just holding off the inevitable. The Astros look good, and I'm all for chaos, Charles. I'm going for it. Let's go Houston. Let's do it. I'm all for chaos.
I mean,
I'm all for chaos this year. I want the off season. Yeah. I want the memes. I want the Astros fans getting all up on people's faces over the off season. As a Marlins fan, it doesn't really affect me much. It's more for the Dodgers fans and really the Dodgers and the Yankees fans. And I know baseball people in general, especially American League teams, would be pissed off. But I think as National League fans will probably be like, in principle, yeah, what the Astros did in 2017, yeah, they can go F themselves. But at the same time, they're now an American League team, and it's like, it doesn't really affect us that much. You guys beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are kind of being the Yankees of like the late 90s, early 2000s. Back then, like they were terrorizing the American League back then, and that's kind of what the Dodgers are doing now. So anything that helps with that, it just helps the National League. Anyways, yeah, the Astros looking good, and they're gonna be facing off against who, Charles?
The betrayer.
Yeah.
The besmircher.
Yep.
The corrupter.
Alex
Cora. And the Red Sox.
Boston.
Let me take this, Raid. Let me take this from you.
Yep.
So, few things. I'm okay with Houston winning the World Series this year. Why? Because now we're so far removed. It's Dusty Baker. He's kind of. I can live with it.
It's been 4 years, people.
I can live with it.
Yeah, Dusty Baker. He won a ring as a player, but he hasn't won one as a manager.
You want him to get it. That's fine. I would have felt a different kind of way had it propelled itself elsewhere if it was last year. But now I don't care. Here is my thing about the Red Sox. What have I been hating on since the beginning of the season? That they, and Chaim Bloom over there, or Chaim Bloom, I don't know how to say his name. That's my actual first time I actually say his name. The guy who's overseeing the Red Sox. He, in a sneaky ways, knew they were going to hire Alex Cora, the beginner of the trash banging.
Yeah.
From back then. They knew they were going to bring him back. That's why they just had the stooge, or whatever the guy's name was from last year.
Yeah.
So you hire back because Rob Manfred doesn't have, he might have testicles, but he doesn't have balls. Because when it was Houston, it was intense. Was Boston even investigated for their World Series win a couple years back? Of course not. Would no one even make the suggestion that someone who led to the cheating of the Astros World Series win would even propel to bring to the same way in Boston? Of course not. Would no one even bring up the coincidence that there was basically back-to-back years for Alex Cora where he was a World Series champion in some way, shape, or form for the prior year in Houston to Boston? Of course not, because we're just going to turn a blind eye. And if your eyes are blind, you can't see. You can only hear. And no one cares about hearing because seeing is believing. Ooh, look how I brought that on. I didn't plan it, kids. Nice. That's how much I hate Alex Cora when I can bring out soliloquies. So we failed. We couldn't eliminate him, which I kind of knew. Garrett Cole was not playing well. Our entire pitching staff was bad. Aaron Boone just kind of went on the dice and said, hey, let's just see what happens here. Please don't bring it back, Cashman. I'll harp on that when it has to be. But It's fine. We lost. But no one was ever saying we were the better team. We were under 500
Yeah.
up until we got to the All-Star break, and then we pulled off some consecutive wins and still end up at the expected thing of being in the wild card.
Giancarlo Stanton and Mike Judge just, Aaron Judge, sorry.
It was a
Mike Judge made King of the Hill
game, and we love King of the Hill. Basically, that's what we were doing. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton were Dale Gribbling it on an exterminator job first, and then the rest of the team was Bill Dautrave talking about back in the day greatness, and then we got bald and fat. Wow, that's good for us. If we had to retile the episode, we would say how we bring in King of the Hill references. This is why it's perfect. But to bring it more back to that, because I don't want to lose my train of thought and consciousness, but we lost it, we can get it, but we knew what we were, so we were expecting the 100-win team, the only 100-win team in the AL, back-to-back AL East champs, teams that were considered to be a poverty stricken franchise, rise at the stakes and all their no-name winners, because the analytics. And we have great management to be able to bring out the Red Sox. I wasn't scared of the Red Sox if we had more than one game. That's the problem with the winner-take-all games. Sometimes it's just what it is. I would still hold true that if you gave me 3 games, we would have taken the series. Why? Because we recently just beat them.
Yeah.
I feel that if you want to talk about analytics, that was the analytics. In our analytics of how we treated the Red Sox, the series, they won the series by 1 game and outscored us by 1 run. I think the analytics work out fine for me, but we didn't get there, and I'm not going to sour grape it. But you're hoping that someone cared about the sport as much as I do to want to bring him down. And you thought it would be the Tampa Bay Rays. You thought it would work well with their story, that you could be back-to-back AL East champs, that you would have something. You were basically going to be the unsung heroes of a league of the East. You were supposed to be the forerunners because everybody's talking about the Yankees are back. Everybody's putting the highlight Red Sox. Blue Jays are going to be that World Series team. Put the spotlight on you, right? And what happens is the spotlight's put onto you and you pee your pants badly. You take 1 game, that's great. And then everything else was just outright bad playing. There was some bad call, sure, but the game that was the bad call, what happened, Francisco? It was like a ruling that made no sense.
Yeah, we kicked the ball.
And so for some people, they were like, oh, well, that's what led to it. But you lost 14-6 that game.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
And I understand, the mindset of being cost of, but 14-6, that's football stats. It was not, I'm not a smart man, but the maximum amount that you can get on a Grand Slam is how many runs, Francisco? 4, not 14. Things have happened. And then you lost 6-4, and then you were down 5-0. You came back. You could have stuck it to the man. To Alex Cora, the corrupter, the besmircher, the defiler of this great sport of baseball that I hope just dies if he wins a World Series. And they tied it up, and then it was done in the 9th. And what did I tell Andrew? Poor Andrew, but he's got to get a little bit because he was talking about smack on that Twitter figure along with some other people. This is a little bit of the clapback section, but this is also a reality: is that ties mean nothing. There's no moral victories, especially in the postseason. You only get moral victories when a team was 2-14 in football, becoming 7-9, 9-7 in baseball, being bomb dwellers, at least being they're a team extra, such as Toronto. And then they lost. The walk-off happened, and the heart was broken. And now I leave it to chaos. I'm like, go ahead, Alex Cora. I don't care. ALCS or American League cheating system. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. Go Dodgers, go Giants, go Cardinals are gone. Go Braves, go whoever. I can't have Alex Cora win it.
Okay.
Because if Alex Cora wins it, I'm out.
Yeah.
I did the same thing last year. And I'm going to say it now. I'm out. Because maybe I was petty last year. Maybe it was raw for me because we didn't even get Houston in any games last year. Mm-hmm. So maybe you can see, but I got Houston, and we whooped them, man. We lost 1 game, and we whooped them everywhere else, and it was just so good. But what is the precedent is that you're not going to get justice from Rob Manfred. You're not going to get justice. You're not going to get humility from Alex Cora. He's going to loose lip sync ships, baby. He's going to be quiet. He's going to be more hard to crack than a John Gruden email.
Mm-hmm.
You think Gruden's email goes JG Gruden 1 loves football at AOL.com? That's what it feels like to me. So That was it. And you know what's funny? I didn't watch any of those series. You know what I have been watching? And damn it, I hate West Coast baseball. Dodgers Giants has just been
Oh
fantastic,
no,
man. I'm just saying.
that's beautiful. No, it's
That's
the
the World
series.
Series for us.
It's the best series of the postseason, and I mean, it might be the best one of the whole postseason. Maybe by the end of it, who knows? Like right now, I mean, look, San Francisco could win tonight, but do you really think they will? They barely won last night, and all the games have been close. So it's well, I mean, well, not all the games have been close. The Giants won emphatically on the first game, and then the Dodgers had their. I mean, it's good. It's just two heavyweights going back to back. You know,
It is Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. I don't know if you watch any of those highlights,
I don't,
but
yeah, I've seen the memes. Seen the
they've been
memes.
good. It
Yeah.
was a good fight too. It's just sometimes when there's a 30-pound difference, there's no coming back. Weight and power are very strongly associated in boxing. And you guys know I like my boxing. Man,
Yeah.
it's good stuff right there.
Yeah. So yeah, the Rays they lost. They're out. It's over, and there's just so much
What
on the
happened?
line. It's so much on the line. It's so much. Like I already said it before. This is worse than the plot of Major League because they're already like they're essentially moved. They're already moved in a sense.
And,
Like it's
and I feel bad for Andrew and other Rays fans because they think that they needed to win this to prevent the move, but the move was always going to happen.
yeah.
It's just this was supposed to be the
And
intervention.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it since we've been talking about since this came out, since the news came out. It was like this that Rays are a pawn. Major League Baseball either wants a brand new stadium in Tampa that they can show off and all that stuff, and have all the things and do their thing there, but or they go to Montreal, which is the bigger market. I know Tampa people in Tampa or in the Bay Area are gonna be like, "What? How is that possible?" Check the numbers. The Quebec, Montreal, all of that. It's way bigger, and it's whatever the Canadian exchange and stuff. What they can make up for it for sure with the brand new stadium in Montreal. Because look, a lot of people there's a misconception with both the Rays and the Expos. Like, oh, you guys hated baseball. You guys never supported it. People supported the Expos, right? The 1994 baseball strike ruined everything for them, and then Jeffrey Loria became their owner and really screwed everything up. So the Expos just kind of had dealt a really bad hand. They were also very good at developing players, Charles, with very little money. No, everybody forgets that sometimes. And lo and behold, the Rays are doing the same thing, and it's history repeating itself now. But yeah. Anyways, that's what's going down there. That's the baseball playoffs. Oh yeah, by the way, the Mets and the Padres fired their managers, so
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh,
Jace Tingler is
ooh.
out from San Diego. He's no longer
Hey, you
jacking
know,
it no more.
they offered him like a position to stay in the organization, and why would you even like try to? You're
Uh,
basically saying that you suck ass, and you
it's
know,
look, watch. They're gonna pull off like oh, and then they're gonna bring him back like once the new manager loses the locker room. I have no idea. I don't know.
Alex Cora in a different fashion.
I guess in a weird way, except this is just for abject failure. And
Can we comment on the fact that Tony La Russa and the White Sox are all overrated? Because remember in opening day that everybody, when Eloy Jimenez went down, it was like, oh, this is tragic. Their aspirations were to be very good. It's more like Cleveland just kind of gave up midseason because they're
look,
going to go into the
the
rebuild.
the Chicago White Sox, and look, this is the same opinion that I have for um, for the Atlanta Braves. It's the fact that they're not really good. It's just that they happen to be in a very bad division, and somebody by default had to win it. So the White Sox, I mean, the Minnesota Twins sucked.
Are you saying Tony La Russa is also not as brilliant of a game manager? Because Rick Renteria, we love you, Rick Renteria, please come to Miami, would have been just as successful as they were if he stayed there for another season.
Yeah. So yeah, no, and the White Sox. Yeah, Renteria is gonna get his. He's gonna get his at some point, and former Marlin too, by the way, and yeah, the White Sox weren't good, and look, the Brewers and the Braves right now 4-4. I mean, those teams are evenly matched, to be honest. And look, the Brewers were like hot for like half the season, but ever since then, I forgot about them.
I don't know who's on their team besides Yelich.
And
And that's also because the NL Central is just very bleh.
yeah, and yeah, so bled that by the time the season ended, the Brewers, like, it should have been like, oh, they should have easily clinched their division. But the Cardinals at some point, like, if the Cardinals had like one more week, they probably would have taken the division.
Yeah. They had one more series between the two of them.
Exactly. So the
Hands
Brewers
down.
just kind of like I don't know, they were on cruise control, but I just completely forgot about them. And well, we'll see what happens with this series, because if they lose, they're out. And yeah, this is my scenario. I want the worst case scenario. The Braves win the World Series for me. that's no for me. Then second would be the Red Sox, and then third would be the Dodgers. I don't want to see the Dodgers win anymore. And
I'll do it for Mighty Max, but that poses a good
he
question.
already got his World Series. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's
But
got his.
but that him getting it now symbolizes why you get that star piece in a trade.
Yeah.
Because look what happened.
Albert
It's the
Pujols
big
getting
boom.
one more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. Let him go off in the sunset.
Yeah, that's true.
Let
as
him
well.
go off in the sunset. It would make like the Angels the ultimate goons.
Oh man,
Like, it's
that'd
not like
be
he's
funny.
done anything, but still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's there. So that's what's going down. Yeah. All right. So that's baseball. That's what happened. Those are the things. All right, Charles. NFL. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do it.
National
We
Football
talked about
League.
it a little bit.
We have a Henry Handy, everybody.
Guys, I got two-handed.
Whoa.
Whew. Buddy.
Yeah.
100 what? Well, I'm bringing up the stats. Screw this. We're gonna give real numbers. I'm not even gonna like wing it.
Yeah, hold on.
We played
I
the
I
Urban
wrote it down.
Myers.
I just have in bold letters Henry Handy.
We played the Jacksonville Grinders.
Yeah.
And it was a successful win. That's one of those things. Even though we lost to the Jets when we had injuries, we got AJ Brown back, and so I just circled the count. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be the automatic win. But Derrick Henry, 29 carries, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's been on a roll, man.
I love these.
Because he had 150.
Yeah, I love these little insights the NFL has for. Yeah, keep going, and then I'll tell you all these insights that they have in the game.
He had 150 yards like the prior week with 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's just been dominating. He has one bad game in the first game of the year, and then everybody's like overthinking it. And then it's just like, buddy.
First game of the year with one less preseason game, by the way, everybody.
With one less preseason game. And since then, he has been just destroying it. He's at 640 yards and 7 touchdowns. So I was going to save this for later at the end of the NFL statement, but I'm going to say it now. There's people who have controversial opinions of who they want to be an MVP. They want the Keebler elf, Kyler Murray. He hasn't played anybody. I'll give him the win in Jackson or in LA, sure. But you want to give him that MVP. I'm not there yet. Same thing, you want to give it to Brady. You want to give all these people when there's a quarterback league. When you think about most valuable player, you think about who that team stems from and is a force through. A lot of quarterbacks have a wide receiver or two that help them achieve that greatness. Brady has all those receivers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You have Kyler Murray, who has DeAndre Hopkins, who he gets baby bezels from me. We love DeAndre Hopkins in my house. The Tennessee Titans just have Derrick Henry, and everything funnels through Derrick Henry. All things go through Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry does not throw the ball, and his greatness is not relied on receivers catching the ball. His greatness is kind of seen through O linemen to open it up, but he'll pummel through a defender that kind of try him. Like he killed Darius Leonard a couple weeks ago on a screen. I'm saying it right now because he's got 640 yards and 7 touchdowns. If this man eclipses 20 touchdowns this year, it's a big possibility. 7 touchdowns is what a lot of running backs end the season with or less. And he's already got close to 1,000 yards. So if he finishes it with more than 1,500 yards, which is possible, I'm just being nice and reducing it, and 20 touchdowns, give him the MVP. I don't care.
Who was the last?
Last time was Adrian Peterson when he broke 2,000 yards in 2012.
Okay.
And Derrick Henry
that's
broke
right.
it last year. And the
That's
year
right.
prior to that, 2006, when LT had 28
That's
touchdowns
right.
last year.
Yeah.
So tell me why. And here's the thing: Adrian Peterson's Vikings, they didn't go to the playoffs. They were 8-8. LT, I think, went 13-3. So maybe I'll go there. But we're getting that division. The entire AFC South is just trash. So explain to me Why it can't be Derrick Henry to be MVP Francisco if he comes close to breaking 2,000, does break 2,000, and then breaks 20 touchdowns when
Yeah.
it is clear that Ryan Tannehill is just taking the backseat and he is just basically smartly Brad Johnsoning this game to bring back a John Gruden callback.
Yeah.
That is my controversial take because I know it's a quarterback league. That's what the whole Offensive Player of the Year is for. You can't give Derrick Henry Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he can have the rushing title, but at this point, it's just not even fair anymore because all he does is win the rushing title 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Go for the MVP.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, if he,
so that's my give. That's why he's getting the Henry handy, but he's
Yeah.
also getting like the most
I mean,
monumental handy.
there's just so much stuff. There's Derrick Henry had his 5th career game with 130 plus rush yards and 3 plus touchdowns. I mean, come on now. You got Derrick Henry's score in the 4th quarter was his 14th rush touchdown and 11 career games versus the Jaguars, which is the most by any player in NFL history. Derrick Henry has surpassed his own record, 672 in 2020, for the most scrimmage yards to the first 5 games of a season in Titans/Oilers history. He's joined Hall of Famer Earl Campbell with 69, very nice, as the only players in Houston, Tennessee history with 60-plus rush touchdowns in their first 6 seasons. I mean, my goodness gracious, Charles.
Tell me why he's not going to be MVP if he breaks all records. Yeah. Why? Because it's rigged, and everything's rigged in the NFL.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of, like, you want to give it to... I can't... I don't know. Like, Kyler Murray...
They're saying Kyler because they're 5-0. And you look at the team he's played, the only real team that he's played is San Fran, who had to go with Trey Lance, and it showed. Mm-hmm. And then he beat the Rams. I'll give him that he beat the Rams.
Yeah.
Brady, maybe Stafford, Mahomes if he gets it around.
Maybe the analytics can help us with this. Who knows? You would think it'd be like just somebody just seeing it. I don't have no idea. But anyways, let's keep going. It's just kind of like how Felix Hernandez won a Cy Young on a losing team with a losing record. Like I'm hoping that'll be a thing. With the Henry Handy, we get the handiest of Henry.
The handiest of handies.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So there's that. I only watched half of the Dolphins game, everybody. So the Miami Dolphins are terrible. Miami Dolphins are terrible, guys. Man, Tom Brady was just toying with the Dolphins. Like, just toying with them in that game. Like, he was throwing, like, deep balls just for the sake of throwing deep balls. Just to mess with Xavier Howard, who has disappeared on us here.
All that shit talk.
Yeah. Just and the holdout. Remember, everybody held out for some more money. And so he's like, okay, just experiment. This is like a preseason game for the Bucs. It truly was. It felt that way. There was no point in the game where they felt like the game was in danger of being lost. They were down in the game, but even then, there was like no look of panic with them at all. Where the Dolphins just kind of look like, oh God, we actually have the lead. And okay, Jacoby Brissett played a slightly better game. Well, it couldn't have gotten worse than the last game. But
he was making some throws that were just excellent considering the fact that he had a straight hamstring. He didn't lose you guys that game, nor did Myles Gaskin. These guys don't play defense.
Yeah.
What the hell is the purpose of Jalen Waddle? I don't know if you've talked to Doug about that, but this is your first-round pick.
The Dolphins.
And I don't know if it's the offensive scheme.
No, don't even talk to me about the offensive scheme with the Dolphins, who have like 4,000 offensive coordinators now, all calling plays. I have no idea what's going on with that. So, anyways, none of it's working, and I didn't watch all the game compared to the last game because it wasn't even funny. Like at this point, I watched the Dolphins as a joke. Like it's like a comedy hour for me, but none of it was funny. They didn't do anything hilariously stupid. So I just stopped watching and I played Metroid Dread, which was a much, much better use of my time. So there was that. And let's talk about
Fuller's hurt. Devontae Parker's hurt.
None of it's working. None of the draft picks have been working out. Like the whole thing, the rebuild it's an abject failure. Everybody,
the defense gave up on your boy.
Yeah, it's a failure. The Dolphins failed to rebuild. They failed to rebuild. And I guess what makes us look bad, it's the fact that certain quarterback out in Los Angeles is doing good. And that's Herbert, right? Just beating good teams, everybody.
Not
Beating
sweating either.
Yeah, exactly. He's beating good teams. And 47-42 over the Cleveland Browns in Los
Was down like
Angeles.
by 20,
Yeah.
just like Lamar.
Yep. So, yeah, Herbert is what joined Patrick Mahomes as the only QBs in the Super Bowl era with 40 plus touchdowns and fewer than 15 interceptions in their first 20 starts of their career. The Dolphins could have had him too.
Yep.
They could
Y'all
have had
love
him.
that Bama. They're like Pac-12 quarterback. We don't want none of that. Josh Rosen came from Pac-12.
Can we just say that the Saban era Bama quarterbacks, none of them work out. None of them do. Right? Can we say
None
that?
of them have been a first-round pick except for Tua and for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron. Homeboys were not drafted. They're drafted like they're a fourth round because they say they're a system-ready team, but they're not asked to do much except for dominate crappy teams.
Yeah. So Alabama, look, this isn't what who was a like Bart Starr. He was a Bama guy a long time ago, way back in the day. I don't think it doesn't work out. So why do NFL teams are drinking the Kool-Aid? I don't know what's going on. So the Dolphins drank it, that's for sure. We'll see. Tua's got supposedly coming back against the Jaguars in London, but
if he's got no tools to elevate him,
man, if the Dolphins lose to the Jaguars, oh, that actually might be funny. Oh, but then I'd have to wake up to watch that game. I don't know if I want to wake up that early just to watch the Dolphins and the Jaguars. All right, so yeah, Herbert is doing good. So that was another game. Oh, let's talk about the Raiders. Let's go ahead back to John Gruden. They lost in Vegas. 20-9 to the Chicago Bears. Everyone. So
what? Justin Fields competent.
Yeah. What a beautiful way for John Gruden to end his coaching career.
For a guy who's supposed to be an offensive genius, and they only get 3 points in his final game, or 9. I'm sorry.
9. Yeah, 9 points. Derek Carr with 22 for 35, 206 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns.
So Mike Mayock's out, right? Got to be. Now that Gruden's not there to be, the human meat shield or utilizing him as the human meat shield for Mike Mayock.
Mm. Yeah.
Because he has not drafted well at all.
No. So, yeah, no, the Raiders trying to, I don't know, unless they keep it going, just try and justify the fact that they're in Vegas, they're trying to get this fan base. I mean, it doesn't matter with the fan base, honestly. They already got the fan base. And Vegas is just
Raiders destination
cities, right? It's just people There'll be a road city.
Yeah, and they have legacy to still be relevant. It's just, you know what, man? I'm a jerk. I already know this because the reason why I laugh about this Gruden thing, the Raiders, because of course it happened to the Raiders. It's not as if it happened to a very neutral team that everybody seems to be kind of about. And I'm trying to think of what that team would be, but it's kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not like it's that kind of team. Because there's some teams that can kind of get away from it. Deflategate, for example. Yeah. Patriots, okay, we all turned it because it was a 45-0, or like 45-14 win for them, so it wasn't like no big deal. But it happened to the Raiders, who is known for having an abrasive owner that everybody only loves him now because he's been dead for 10 years, but no one could stand Al Davis when he was alive.
Right.
Unpopular opinion, that is true. The fact that they would just get the problem cases. Tom Cable was known for punching his assistant in the jaw straight up. Hiring Mike Mayock, whose biggest claim to fame was not having any managerial experience, but being the guy who you listen to on fantasy football. And then now they get back John Gruden. And then the other thing they want to be known as Mark Davis's ass backwards haircut. Yeah. What the hell? Can we just finally talk about the guy looks like a stand-in for a pop figurine with that hairdo. I can't get behind it. It's just so bad. It's because I'm a little vain. I take care of my hair because I know one day it might leave me. My grandfather's 91 years old today, so he's got good hair. I don't want my hair to be like Mark Davis. I want my hair to be like Grandpa.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So let's keep. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's the Raiders. They lost. That's the way John Gruden's career ends. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Detroit Lions. So, 54-yard game-winning field goal for them.
Dan Campbell almost crying. Did you hear about that? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see
He's literally in tears about to, cry. And this is the man who he wasn't my cup of tea when he was hired because he's like, we're going to bite them at the knees. He's that guy. And then it turns out, now he's about to cry. I feel like Tom Hanks is still crying baseball because he's feeling emotional because his team lived down. I'm like, you knew what you were signing for. This is the Detroit rebuilt Lions. Yeah. And, I don't think people are going to feel that sympathetic because what happened was they had the lead and then the final 45 seconds occurred.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, that's right. They're winless still, so they're definitely tanking. A glorious tank that they have there. The LA Rams beat the Seahawks, so Charles is happy.
All right, real quick, hate train.
Yep, we're back on the hate train, everybody.
Well, it's all season long. Remember, my dislike of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers is going on the back end. It is going straight to Seattle. Why? Because of the cheating that was happening when we had to play them, and it was a safety. They didn't want to call it safety and all that stuff. So the greatest thing has happened. Russell Wilson broke his finger. He is out for 4 to 6 weeks. We are getting Geno Smith. Good for Geno Smith for still being around.
He's stuck around.
He's stuck around. He's getting a chance, but this is great. Paid. This is great. Forget your franchise, Seattle. You're more known and noticeable for, what you missed instead of what you could do. You're known for losing a Super Bowl instead of the one that you actually won. Your quarterback is married to, Sierra, who had to be with Future, and that's concerning. And, DK Metcalf, you only one run route. I would not say that's his face because you could beat the shit out of me. Tyler Lockett, you could suck it. You helped me lose in fantasy football when I was playing against you. I hold those grinds. Richard Sherman's going to go win a title in Tampa. Y'all ain't nothing. Love it.
All right, Seattle. Yeah, in Seattle, you know what? Just look forward to your new hockey team. They play tonight, right? Oh, well, the Lightning are losing 2-0 to the Penguins, so that's good for the Panthers.
This is not Andrew's year. Think about it. What if it went from high hopes for the Rays and then high hopes?
Maybe it's the sports gods for the way he just bandwagon on the Buccaneers as soon as they won the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying it, but you said it, because I have any other 29 other teams.
Look, I'm just a miserable Miami sports fan, so I'm the one who texted Doug, and I showed you guys our text message thread, which wasn't as long this time with the Dolphins game. That the Dolphins should be the one to move to Montreal more than anyone. Anyways, yeah. So Seahawks. So that was that part of the hate train. Let's see, tank ball between the Falcons and the Jets, 27-20 between those two teams. The Saints beat the football team out in Landover, not DC, but Landover, Maryland. Patriots beat the Texans. It didn't look like that was going to happen.
Poor Davis Mills.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. The Patriots actually won.
Yeah.
The hate train isn't stopping in Green Bay right now because they barely beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
But they're trash.
Yeah. But hey, man, the Bengals are trying.
Look, someone has to win the NFC North.
Trying.
Okay?
They are trying.
They really are trying.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. That's the problem with y'all Twitter finger people out there. You're saying Jamar Chase because he drops balls in preseason. He ain't going to be nothing. Guy has like 600 yards. Where's the talk now? He's obviously loved by Joe Burrow as a rookie. I almost said Wookie. As a rookie, when you have established guys like Tyler Higbee and Tyler Boyd on there. Right now, he has 456 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. That's a lot. We're 5 games into the season. What could the potential be? I'm defending Jamar Chase against the Twitter people on the internet. Good for you, Jamar Chase. Good for you, Joe Burrow. Stop making mistakes, though.
Okay. Steelers actually won a game. They went over the Broncos, but the Broncos are the Broncos. So, yeah. Eagles Like I hopped off of the Carolina Panthers bandwagon just in time because
Sam Darnold's uploading.
yeah, so yeah, they lost to the Eagles. So there you go.
And you know what's funny? I said Jalen Hurts in it, and then he wins again. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah. And we already mentioned the aforementioned Arizona Cardinals. The Cowboys destroyed the Giants. There that happened.
Hey.
The Bills looking good against Kansas City.
Nope. I'm not buying into it.
Not buying into it yet. It's just regular season, huh?
Let me.
When
that was my.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That was my thing, and that was my thing when I told you. I mean,
regular season.
I watched that
happens
game.
When it matters, right?
Yeah, one of my best friends is a Bills fan, and he's going to hate me if he ever listens to the show. But let me give to you the Bills' schedule, whom they played. I watched that game, and what happened was if the defense is bad for Kansas City, but if Patrick Mahomes had receivers not named Tyreek Hill, not dropping, and he dropped the ball too, coming around to it, and then that interception that was returned, it was just kind of fleecing out. It was just the offense letting Patrick Mahomes out. Maybe it's because I'm a Patrick Mahomes lover boy. Maybe it is. But I'm going to give you the Buffalo Bills teams that they've played because it's the same way of Arizona Cardinals. It's the first half of the season. It's good to be 4-1. Sure, you want to be 4-1, and I want to know why there's music playing in the background. 1 second, kids. Hopefully no one hears that.
I don't know. I don't hear nothing. Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read it down some names. So they lost to the Steelers. They beat the Dolphins 35-0.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
When they didn't have Tua. They beat Washington 43-21.
It doesn't really matter if we had Tua or not, I don't think.
No, it doesn't, but it's still a point. They beat Washington 43-21 with Taylor Heinicke. They beat the Texans 40-0 with Davis Mills, and they just beat the Chiefs on I'm not going to give you as a valid win. And then you play us Monday. Beat us Monday. Mm-hmm. Maybe it changes, kids. Go. But I'm not going to ride that bandwagon.
Here we go.
I'm not going to acknowledge you the way I acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. It's Buffalo. You went to 4 straight Super Bowls going to win. That's what you're getting at now. Be like the Tampa Bay Rays and just believe your own hype.
And finally, yesterday's game, the Ravens over the Colts.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Carson Wentz is still alive, but couldn't keep it going.
I mean, that's not on him, though.
No.
That's on that deep.
No, it
he played
well? No, he did as well as he... And look, Carson Wentz is... he's trying. He's trying to keep that career going, right? I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe a little Kurt Warner, right? Where it's like 5 years from now, he's gonna just be amazing again. maybe that's the journey for him. Maybe that'll be it. But yeah. So there we go. All right. So let's see where we are on time. Actually, we're actually much on time. Well, Andrew's not here, so we normally talk about college football, but we're just gonna point out some stuff that happened. Went down. Bama went down, so that was good.
Yeah.
So Bama,
to Jimbo, all people.
Yeah, to Jimbo. Texas A&M, so down goes Bama. So that was good. Georgia's number 1 now because they're they're let's see. Nebraska lost to Michigan because of a fumble that cost them the game. So so close, but yet so far, huh? Nebraska. It's just the way it's been. Oklahoma beating Texas. Last second drive. That was actually pretty cool. That was pretty good.
21-point lead.
Yeah.
They screwed up.
Yeah. So there's that. Red River Robbery. Penn State lost to Iowa, and they stormed the field, even though Iowa's the higher-ranked team. So
Trash.
Boise State upset BYU. So there's that. And then good game between Arkansas and Ole Miss. 1 point difference there. Was it 52-51 or something like that? So
yeah. FSU won. They beat Mac Brown and their overrated selves.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, Forest actually won. So there's that. I don't know what the heck happened to theirs. Their Canes didn't play, right?
No, they were off by week. Yeah. But this is what I will say about the Canes. Really quickly, because this is part of my clapback segment. It would have been a full segment if Andrew was here. So there was a lot of hate and heated people in the internet when obviously we missed the winning field goal kick. And even our good buddy Brendan Rourke and Andrew, I feel like I was getting kind of ganged up here about saying that Miami, and a lot of people say Miami has been the most overrated program the last 10, 50 years. And I'm just sitting there in disbelief because, one, we actually got a number one week. I think 2 weeks we were number one. So don't hate us because we got there. We don't make the polls. It just happened. But how dare they say that we have been the most overrated program for the last 10 years? Well, I'm going to give you two college football programs, Francisco, that would fulfill the whole overrated thing. And I don't know how everybody determines overrated, but I look at overrated as hype, ranking, and can you win the big one? Because it's college football. So a lot of us are playing for the Tostito Bowl, man.
Michigan. Michigan's a good one.
Michigan's the third one. I'll give you the two of them. And one that proved my point this weekend. They both proved my point this weekend. Texas and Penn State. Texas and Penn State. Texas, who, when Mac Brown left, hires Charlie Strong. He gets fired out within like 2 seasons because they don't want, black coach leading in Texas, apparently. That's what my belief. And they get Tom Harriman coming from Texas that can't go from it. And they go to Steve Sarkisian. And then you got Penn State. What's Penn State done? You had Joe Pop. You had a ragtag Joe Lombardi. Or Vince Lombardi. I'm saying it. What have they done in years? And then you have Bill O'Brien. And then you have
Penn State, because of the things that went down, with the.
I'll give you cumulative because they've been good with Franklin. But what you got? Yeah. So you're going to say the U has been the most overrated program? What?
I wouldn't even say the U is overrated with regard.
That's what people put on there.
Even your boy Andrew, I would just think Canes fan overrate the U program. That's all. Those are the only people the people down here in South Florida. The way if you listen to local sports radio and stuff like that, and look on Twitter, like Canes fans. Canes fans are always overrating themselves because every year they think the U is back, and it never is, and it never will be. But yeah. Yeah, I can't say that Miami's the most overrated. The body of work isn't there compared to what you have with like Michigan or anything like that. I wouldn't say. And
Michigan's gonna fall. They're gonna.
I think you could make an argument that 1 or 2 seasons of the last decade, let's say, you could say that the U was overrated those particular seasons. And by the way, that was clearly proven because they would basically fall apart at the end of those seasons and lose their bowl games. So it was proven, but I can't say they were completely overrated. Unlike the Charles's mustache mask that you can get on our TeePublic page, that's not overrated at all.
That's not overrated at all. That mustache mask is pure Bama. You can't grow out your own facial hair. You can't because you have to go court like me. Use my face. Utilize it. That's almost the beginning of my Latin revolutionary facial hair. Maybe we'll develop my Bob's Burgers mustache or my cop mustache.
All right. So yeah. Okay. Well, Charles, we're getting there. So let's head on over. Let's get to that cage, shall we?
Whew, whew, whew. Welcome everybody to your weekly Truplex, The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a staged fight. It is a story about men and women chasing championships, beating the holy hell out of each other, trying to establish and cement their legacy in life, and then just getting that good old money. And this is kind of the quiet time a little bit in wrestling. We had kind of talked about it last week, but we're waiting and building. So this might be probably one of the shorter cages out there unless I do a highlight of a wrestler. But taking it from the top, Impact. I think I told you last week in the text because it was announced and then I'll bring it into it. Why are there ugly championships? That happens. But why are there dumb names to championships? It's a hard question. I can live with an ugly looking title. I can't live with an ugly name title. Impact released their new championship because they have their streaming platform, Impact Plus. There's things that they want out of it. So they released a new championship. Now, their single titles are the Impact Championship. Their other title is the X Division Championship. But they released the Digital Media Championship last week. What? Digital Media Championship. And obviously you want to portray that in some fashion to get people to look at you from the Twitch views.
Yeah, but it just sounds like sounds like a very corny award given at like a conference for digital media marketers. Somewhere in like Spokane, Washington or something.
And it's just one of those things of how could we have made this work? How could we have made this better? How could we have made it relevant to the plot of what we're doing? You can't call it the Internet Championship, but you got to give it something. I remember people were calling the WWE Championship or the secondary championship the Universal Championship as a bad name, or the TNT Championship's bad to me. We're going to talk about that because apparently that's the running theme of dumb title names and dumb titles. But I don't get it. And the championship looks fine, but the digital media championship, it just feels like a placeholder. It seems like something that we would just kind of make if we made a Sports Goofs title. Like if that's the actual looking championship, that looks like a fighting belt. It looks like a title from the UFC. But I can't get behind it. So they're going to be doing a tournament. They're going to decide, and they're going to crown your digital media impact champion. It reminds me a lot of when they did the King of the Hill title and then the Grand Slam championship from back in the day. I don't know if it's smart risk. Yeah, that's all I can tell you. Good luck to whoever wins it. Good luck trying to establish that. Have fun. I got nothing on that one. Bringing on over New Japan because I think we'll focus on bad titles, but New Japan still continuing with the G1 Climax. We still have Kota Ibushi kind of leading the way. I still think it's to be Zack Sabre or Zack Sabre who's going to get it. I heard his match was fantastic with a couple of people that he's had. I didn't catch up with today, so I don't know what the updated rankings are, but my prediction is just go all the way with Zack Sabre. I think him and Shingo Takagi would have a banger of a match. I think it brings in more of a focus to Suzuki Gun, which is the stable that Minoru Suzuki is leading, but he's over in AEW doing some weird stuff going against Jon Moxley and apparently Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, more to talk about that soon. It hasn't been as enthralling to me as it has in the past. I think that's just because you don't have like that international flavor that I want out of it. Because remember, the whole concept of the G1 Climax is you have this basic round robin tournament. Person with the most points who win out of the A block and B block finals go against each other, and then whoever wins that gets a title shot at the next event against the current champion, which would be Shingo Takagi. Right now, Kota Ibushi is leading with 12 points, 6 wins, 2 losses. Over on the A block and the B block, it's Jeff Cobb, who has 14 points. He's 7-0. I can live with Jeff Cobb because here's some backstory of why it might work. And even though New Japan's not as story-based as the other ones, it still works because the prior to the champion of that, prior to Shingo Takagi, was Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is the one who won the Transformer title, as I call it, when he was New Japan World Heavyweight Championship after he beat Kota Ibushi, and then he had the new title that was reformed for it. He got hurt with a neck injury. He's back apparently, but he's not in the G1 Climax tournament because I think they have something bigger that they're telling. Jeff Cobb and Great O'Karn are part of the United Empire, which is Will Ospreay's faction that he leads. So what if your whole thing is you have Jeff Cobb winning the tournament, supposed to go against Shingo Takagi, and then he vacates his spot for Will Ospreay to come back and he wins it back? I can kind of get behind it because WWE does a lot of rematches when champions lose the belt. Other places don't really do that. New Japan's like, nah, man, it's back of the line kind of stuff. This ain't like boxing where you're Anthony Joshua, asking for a rematch because you got clocked again out of nowhere by Usman or whatever his name is. And AEW hasn't really established that kind of personality either, where the champion who lost gets an automatic rematch. And I'm a sucker for automatic rematches because we talked about last week, Francisco. It's about getting the stories to work because how do you write a storyline without a championship? It's kind of hard. You agree with me. So rematches kind of extend feuds, kind of pull off a caper. They get what it needs to be done to be done. I think that would be cool, but maybe not. I still think they should go with Zack Sabre, pull it out a few bits because I want to see that style, but chances are it's either going to be Jeff Cobb or they give you Kota again, and the match is going to be good. Bring it over. Let's go with AEW. This Friday on Rampage is going to be interesting because AEW and WWE are crossovering each other. So WWE is doing a supersized portion of SmackDown, so it's going to run an additional 30 minutes. So instead from 8 to 10, it's going to go 8 to 10:30. And it's going to interfere with AEW Rampage, which is what they have on TNT. So AEW has been like, oh, we're going to up the stakes. And they have Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson going. It's still weird for me to go back to his old indie names, but he's going to have I think the Braves just won. Bryan Danielson going against Minoru Suzuki, which I don't like to watch wrestling on Fridays because I got to do things.
So,
yeah, my buddy just texted me. I'm like, I don't like to, do certain things. I'll watch wrestling on Fridays, but I might have to watch that match, but given the fact that AEW disappointed with Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki in AEW, um, I don't want to kind of watch it if it's going to disappoint. So, but since it's on Rampage instead of Dynamite, I think it gets the time in. Last weekend or last week on Dynamite, they introduced the secondary title, the much rumored TBS title, and it's going to go to be the women's second division. Charles has gripes. One, the title is ugly. And people say, oh no, you'll learn to like the title. No, I think it's ugly. Britt Baker, DMD, who is you see it, right?
Yeah.
It's just so bad. It's just so bad. It's bad. There's no other way to say it. It's bad. I don't like the blue. I like the gold is fine. The blue and then the TBS logo just it doesn't work, man.
It's so
and then what?
Oh my god, the TBS
logo. Isn't it kind of sycophantic? You already have the TNT title, and the TNT title, I let it slide because your show's called Dynamite, and it's primarily, called Dynamite.
Yeah.
So TNT and Dynamite, but what?
I mean, this is all like maybe they'll have a Cartoon Network champion, an Adult Swim.
Well,
champion.
That's what Britt Baker, DMD, made that statement on. She goes and says, y'all call it TBS title, but you could just call it the Cartoon Network title because now it's going to be the secondary title for the women. And it just made more sense to just have a women's tag team belt because, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense to me to have a mid-card for a women's title. One, you don't have the same variety of women or expansive growth of women to use as wrestlers. Some of them are still green or you don't have the roster. And then two, I think it's going to cause like that confusion. The TNT title is a mid-card title. The AEW championship is the main title, but can we say the same thing about the TBS title? And they're going to do a tournament starting in January. Jade Cargill, Ruby Soho are probably going to be the last two, and it'll probably go to Ruby. I don't think it would go to Jade. I think Jade would actually be the one who beats Britt Baker, DMD, to get it. I just don't like that title, man. I feel that it's a little bit of ass kissing. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, Cody. Follow us on Twitter. Danfrey Holidays, Charles the True, FJOJR, all that other fun stuff. But it's not my cup of tea. It's kind of like the blue doesn't work. I mean, look, how many times does the TNT title have to be redone? A lot. And they provided the title when it wasn't completed, and then Brody died, and they redid it, and then they gave it to Miro, and Miro changed from the red to the green. The TBS title is just a no because it seems such a that's like if it looks like if we made a Sports Goof title. We kept the gold and we just put the S and the G and we had the blue and gold.
Yeah, and we had the blue that we use instead of that Robin's egg blue that they use there.
And I just can't get behind it in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not necessarily a fan of it. But look, at the end of the day, it's their world. We just live in it. So if title means nothing without the right kind of champion, the right kind of challenger, so best of luck to them.
I mean, if we're going to go with this corporate sponsorship,
Warner Brothers title.
Yeah, DC Comics title,
WB title, it's fine. You got Malachi Black
Looney
in there.
Tunes. Do a new Space Jam spinoff. I have no idea.
Space Slam. Holy crap. Remember when we made our own TV show?
Oh, no, the Venus Williams or the Serena Williams show. Was it? Was it Jam? Peanut Butter and Jam? I don't know, something like that.
No, I thought we called it Aces.
Yeah, or something like. Yeah, exactly.
It was supposed to be Aces, but it was supposed to
peanut
mean
butter. Something about peanut butter.
Oh, it was a spin-off to Sausage Party.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what I would do. You make Space Slam because I mean listen, hold on here.
Oh, here we go.
If you put like Tasmanian Devil and Brock Lesnar in a ring together, I'm for it. But that's WWE. So we go to AEW. So if you put Eddie Kingston and the Tasmanian Devil, I'm for it. You could put MJF and Bugs Bunny. No, Daffy Duck.
Because like Disney, and we're gonna do like a tie-in, with WWE
Disney
like
buys
that.
WWE. Well, when they buy WWE, I mean, you had Scooby-Doo and WWE stuff like Scooby-Doo WrestleMania. These are real things.
I'm just saying, but now AEW is connected to the Turnerverse or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, they could do it with like DC or Cartoon Network stuff. That could be a thing.
Could you just imagine? You could have the Powerpuff Girls and you have a Powerpuff Girls stable. That'd be badass.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo, the Space Slam. We made it. It's us. We're trademarked at AEW. If you want that,
or at least make it into a video game. You know, unlike was it the Nickelodeon All Star Smash or whatever they just made?
Brawl. Yeah,
Yeah, All
I
Star
can't
Brawl.
buy that because there's no sound effects. There's no care. I
Oh
watched
no,
like a 5 minute
yeah,
gameplay of it. I'm
yeah, I
like, no,
saw that.
thank you.
Yeah, there's no voice. There's no voice. Like they didn't even get the voice actors for these characters.
Yeah,
Like
because it's just a hollow. It's a hollow mashup. The game might
exactly.
actually be legitimately fun, but if you're using licensed rights, I expect license
But it's
things.
Nickelodeon's own thing. You would think they could at least gotten Tom Kenny to voice SpongeBob has to make noise. He has to speak.
They
Like
don't
you're
even
not
have
get
Squidward. I want to see somebody. He has like all those tentacles. He would have been a
like
perfect brawler.
like you have all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you could get all those voice actors. I don't care if they're unionized or not. You can get
So
all of them together.
how could you even like get April O'Neil in there, but you don't have Casey Jones? Seriously,
Yeah, he's perfect.
or
He's got
even
the hockey
Shredder.
mask. He's got the hockey stick and stuff like that. Yeah, you got Shredder. They needed more villains in that too. They needed more
Yeah, like
villains.
seriously.
I mean,
Like
you have
that's the only
Zim, but Zim
license
is. I
that
don't even
happened.
know if Zim's really a villain because he's so incompetent.
Yeah, Zim is not a villain whatsoever. I
Exactly.
mean, they could have had the Fairly Odd Parents dude in there, who's basically me in another 10 years. They have
Crocker.
no villains. Yeah, Crocker. Yeah,
Fairies!
no one wants to beat. The nice people don't want to beat each other
Yeah,
up. I don't
everybody
even
wanted
think that
Jimmy
you have.
Neutron's dad. They could have done that for the
Yeah,
meme.
and you're gonna bring Avatar, which is ripe with certain things, but you just bring a Toph and Aang. I'm like,
Yeah.
come
Oh no, they
on, man.
had Cora. They had Cora. She was in there. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
not the
she's not
original.
really a
Yeah, no,
villain.
I know, but yeah, not the
Yeah,
same.
so that's
Yeah.
the hard part. I'm like, so why would they want to beat each other up? It's the same way of how Sony did their All
Yeah,
Star Brawl
PlayStation All
or their
Stars.
equivalent.
Yeah.
I'm like, get some bad guys in there. Your only bad guy was like Kratos. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on.
That's true. You
You know,
needed gosh, what was Zuko's sister's name?
oh,
Uh
oh God,
it started with a Z, right? Zula.
Azula.
Yeah, they should have had her. Like she was
No,
badass.
because everybody wanted to be Azula because Azula was like straight up badass.
Yeah, exactly. Could have been that.
We
Yeah,
we
Zula. There you
loved
go,
we
BU.
loved
He's listening. Yeah, he gets it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, we could have had her. We can. I mean, we had Nigel Thornberry. That was nice, but he doesn't make. He doesn't even say smashing.
Yeah, well, right. But like, who else? It's just tough because there's not a lot of
I
people.
mean, you
But
had Ren and
They got Reptar in
Stimpy.
there, right?
Yeah, Reptar was in there because that's like the only legit. I mean, well, I mean, really, after
He's a
Smash Brothers,
Gaijin.
really anybody can be made into a fighter at this point.
Yeah.
So they could have done something with
I
like,
mean, you could have had. You know where they
but
messed
I
up
don't
on,
think they
or it's
wanted to be
because
like people
Disney owned
beating
it.
up on babies. That's probably what it was.
I mean, there's a certain people that will want to maybe punch Chucky Finster in the face. I'm just saying.
Yeah, get a swift
Chucky
nunchuck to the side of the head by Michelangelo. That would have been funny to see.
Yeah, I mean, but you could have Shredder, you could have Krang, you just bled out the
Yeah,
resources that you had. You could have Danny Phantom. He had villains. I never watched the show, but I
yeah,
know he had villains.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
They needed what was some iconic um, fighters. Like Cartoon Network has already done this, by the way. They've already done their own version of
yeah,
Smash Bros.
they've done that
Came out like on
same
like the
thing.
Xbox 360 and like the Wii or whatever, but no, the PS3. Sorry, I don't think it came out on the Wii. That was like a long, long time ago. But they
You
had
know, the
like
problem is with fighting games, everybody's game for it. Like,
yeah,
I'll play any kind of fighting game if the mechanics are good and it's not cheap.
yeah, and at least that one had like a story mode and stuff like that. Like the ending, like the final character you unlock was Captain Planet. That was a nice nod. It was I've seen the cutscenes from that. It's pretty fun, but this one felt so lifeless. It's like you guys had the opportunity for the PS3 or PS5 or 4 and Xbox owners to have a little something, you know. But whatever. Okay. Oh man, that was a massive tangent.
But back to the cage. So hit me up.
See, that's
It's
that could be the TBS belt could have appeared in.
and the game you're talking about is Cartoon Network Battle Crashers because I'm on my
Yeah, there we
Switch,
go.
so I went on it to
Yeah,
see what they had, and
yeah.
it's $249 right now
There you
on
go.
the eShop. So me, I'm like, $249 is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
I watch me some Adventure Time. Come along with me and the butterflies and bees. So bringing it back. So AEW, they're gonna have that Rampage match. Brian Danielson. So tough because he's originally Daniel Bryan and he's not Daniel Bryan anymore. It's Brian Danielson gets Minoru Suzuki. I'll watch. Hangman Page is back. He was the Joker in the casino. I almost call it Casino Royale match because I'm thinking of James Bond, but the casino ladder match where whoever wins gets a future title shot. He's gonna be getting that Kenny Omega. The question is, are you gonna get him at Revolution or are they gonna wait it out? But But I'm excited because they stalled it a little bit. He left. He was gone for a bit. Now he's back. So Charles is very happy. WWE Crown Jewel is next week. Yeah, next week is on the 21st, I believe. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. We're not going to talk about fully about the Crown Jewel yet for the sake of time and also because the card's not fully developed. But it might be a banger. I might actually watch it. And the Saudi shows are ass half the time. But right now you have Brock versus Roman. We acknowledge Roman. You have Big E defending his title on the main stage against Drew McIntyre. Yeah. You have Goldberg and Bobby Lashley in a no-holds-barred match, which Bobby's going to lose and is going to make me super angry. You have AJ and Amos versus RK Bro for the Raw Tag titles. So there might be other matches in there, but you also have the return of the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. So the whole thing back in the day, King of the Ring was basically what would propel somebody from being the mid-card to relevancy. The last King of the Ring they had led to Baron Corbin becoming King Corbin, and he recently lost that King crown to Shinsuke Nakamura, who's not even wearing it. Now he abdicated the kingship to go do his own thing, and they'll use it here. We won't talk about competitors yet because I guess we could to a degree. You have Sami Zayn, who advanced against Rey Mysterio. You have Finn Balor beating Cesaro. Ooh, they pulled the trigger on that too early. I thought they would have been good semifinals. And then you have Xavier Woods and Jinder Mahal going against each other in the finals. That's going to lead to the Crown Jewel one. I'm all for King Jinder because I think that heel heat would be excellent because it's a good way to build him back. Even though people want Xavier Woods to win it, it doesn't fit for me. You're still part of the New Day. I know you want the King of the Ring, but no. Some of the best King of the Rings out there. Steve Austin 316. That's where it came from. Triple H was a King of the Ring. Owen Hart, the King of Hearts, the Black Heart. We love Owen Hart. Bret Hart was a King of the Ring. King of the Ring has some good propelling. It doesn't mean you're an automatic world champion, but it's a good way to kind of build that storyline. They fumbled that for the last couple of years because they make it into a moniker too much, like King Barrett. King Booker was the last famous one in my head because he did get a world championship to it. And then, of course, you have the Macho King, Randy Savage, King Mabel also. But maybe they're doing something. I don't like the idea that's going to be Finn Balor is probably going to win it. He's already the prince of the night. He's going to put as the king. Poor Finn's trying to come back from that questionable decision-making at Extreme Rules. Still a good match. Him and Sami Zayn should be fire. But I can live with Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal with Jinder winning because it's all about that heat, and a good heel has the best heat on him. Then they have the Queen of the Ring. I'm going to save my breath on this one. If it's not Shayna Baszler who wins it, I don't want none of it. She's already the Queen of Spades. Verify it. Let her go on SmackDown, be a champ, choke out Becky Lynch, win that championship, and become a monster. Let her be who she needs to be. There's other competitors. Her and Doudrop are probably going to go into Australia. That's right. Doudrop's a wrestler. It's used to be Piper Nevin, but Vince changes names. There's probably more to come in there. I haven't looked into the Queen's Crown tournament, but I'm already biased. What can I say? But I'm interested in Saudi, man. I'm interested in the Crown Jewel, and usually it's just a cheap gift. Oh, there's the bracket. Okay, I'll look at the bracket real quick. Selena Vega beat Toni Storm. That was a bad decision. Carmella beat Liv Morgan. That was a bad decision. So, I mean, Carmella versus Shayna? Sure, but it makes me feel like Doudrop's going to win, and Vince likes his character. So, Doudrop, Carmella. I don't know. I just think you should just give it to Shayna and just let her just outright destroy it. Wreck it. But it'll be interesting that comes what happens. Right now, NXT is going to have the North American title match on as my dogs bark when I talk about important things. Isaiah Swerve Scott will finally be defending his North American championship against Santos Escobar of Legado del Fantasma, who I like. I like both of them. You know, one's a leader of Hit Row, one's a leader of Legado. What's important to note is that Isaiah was drafted to SmackDown, buddy. So that means your North American champion was drafted to SmackDown. Which the problem is, it just tells us that Santos Escobar is going to win that title. So it kind of takes the suspense. But that's probably what I'm going to watch if it's the main event tonight. Besides that, it'll be very interesting what they come into. But we'll talk more next week when we get some results. Because this is the problem with wrestling, man. You get me on a Tuesday, but then I got a Monday wrestling, I got a Tuesday wrestling, I got a Wednesday wrestling, and I got a Friday wrestling. What am I supposed to do with my life, Francisco? It's very tough. But that's all I got for you this week on The Cage.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with our schedule moving forward. So we're gonna. Andrew's got some things he's gonna be doing. So we're trying to accommodate him and see if we can find a different day for our schedule. So that's a heads up for next time. But if not, you missed the show. We got the podcast version of it. Find that on our website, on the various podcast apps. We're pretty much on everything, so you can find us everywhere. But yeah, that's it for everyone. Final look at the score crawl right here. So yeah, the Astros have moved on. The Atlanta Braves have moved on. Dodgers are up 1-0 on the Giants. And the Pens are still up 2-0 on the Lightning heading into the third period. And later tonight, Vegas versus Seattle. I will watch that. I will watch that while I edit this show and finally get back into hockey. Hopefully the Penguins are getting all of their winning out of the way tonight because their next game is against the Panthers later on this week. Yeah, hockey, it's back. Feel it. Feel the thunder. Feel the ice. Right, the coolest game on earth. I think that was their motto back in the late 90s. So yeah, I'm excited, Charles. I'm excited. I really am. People think the Panthers might win the Stanley Cup, and I'm scared. Expectations, finally. And of course, the Heat will be coming soon enough too. So we'll be looking forward to some basketball too.
Heat and 6?
Yep. So excited about that. And yeah, Jimmy Butler's new hairdo as well. He's got me all up in a tizzy right now. Ooh.
We're gonna see if we're gonna fall in love with an old Kyle Lowry or not. That's gonna be the hardest sell for me.
Yeah,
because you and I were kind of the two people who were like,
We'll see. I mean, he's in shape. He's in way better shape than he's ever been. So they're part of that Miami Heat wellness program. Yeah, the workout program that they've got. Man, Miami Heat should just open gyms all over the country.
Listen, I will follow their workout regime.
For
Whatever
real.
they got to do to get that cardio going, I'll play to it.
I will join a Miami Heat gym. You know how they have the UFC gyms all over the place? The Miami Heat should just open their own. Yeah.
Well, it's all nutrition. The first thing Pat does is goes, "You don't eat any sweets," and that's why I couldn't make the roster. I was literally like, I went to Jimmy John's and I had the triple chunk cookie. When I got home before the show because I need my sugar, I had an Oreo. I wouldn't survive. Pat would fire me.
Yeah. All right, that's it for us, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll see you next week for our 118th episode. Oh man, we've been doing this a long time. All right, bye. Have a good night. Good night. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Take care.
Whenever you listen to this. Yeah, sure. Take care. Bye.